And we welcome you to Steve Cady Arena at the Goggin Ice Center for Game 2 of the weekend set between Miami and 13th-ranked Arizona State following the thrilling overtime victory yesterday. In comeback fashion, the RedHawks look to get back to it and go for a sweep against a ranked opponent here on this Saturday. Luke West, Poley, Jeff Middleton with you. Jeff, very resilient Miami team. They proved that yesterday, down 4-1 with just under 15 minutes to go in the third period. The RedHawks rallied. They scored 3 unanswered, including a goal with the extra attacker on with 56 seconds to go from William Helene, and in poetic fashion won it yesterday in overtime. This is some resiliency that we have not seen from a RedHawk team in a very long time, and kind of a breath of fresh air for RedHawk fans after last night.
Yeah, and there were plenty of games last year where
they will run, instead of the usual 12 forwards and 7 defensemen, they're running 8 defensemen and 11 forwards. That means that after last night, Braden Morrison is out of the lineup. He is replaced by Zane Dempsey, and so the RedHawks will go with 4 pairs of 2, 3 full lines of forwards, and 2 extra forwards. Logan Neaton starting in the Miami net tonight. For Arizona State, things remaining much of the same. Lines 2 through 4 have been shuffled. For Greg Powers, the first line remains untouched. That's who he's going to start. Lucas Sillinger, Ty Jackson, and Dylan Jackson. Those first 2 guys each scored a goal yesterday. But the big lineup change for the Sun Devils, they will go with a new goaltender, and it is the first career appearance and start for Gibson Homer, the sophomore from Grand Rapids, Michigan, a big goaltender at 6'5", 215. He takes the place of TJ Septemfelter, who started the game yesterday and has carried the full load of goaltending duties for Arizona State this season. As mentioned, Gibson Homer, the sophomore, his second year at Arizona State, but this is his first appearance. Only other lineup change for ASU. Tucker Ness is the extra skater. He is inserted into the lineup. Jackson Niedermeyer is scratched. He occupied that spot yesterday. RedHawks starting lineup being announced as we speak for Miami. It will be Barbolini, Vitalins, and Waldron. Up front, Dylan Moulton and Jack Clement on the back end, and Logan Neaton starting in goal for Miami, the grad student from Brighton, Michigan. 6'4", 200 pounds. Draft choice of the Winnipeg Jets. 5 games played this season. He's got a 4-1 record. He has been the guy for Miami this year. 2.76 goals against average and .911 save percentage for the second straight night. Bruno Braveris is dressed, but the RedHawk true freshman will not be starting this game for Miami following his battle with some eligibility issues earlier this year. Pass it over to public address and Scott Shriver, anthem and puck drop coming up here on RedHawk Radio in the series finale between Miami and Arizona State. Stay tuned. Miami and Arizona State all set to go here from Cady Arena on Saturday night. Starting goaltenders for each team. First for Arizona State, as mentioned earlier on, it will be Gibson Homer making his first career start. Product of the Chicago Steel in the United States Hockey League. 6'5", 215 pounds, sophomore left-handed catcher making his first appearance of his second-year career at Arizona State. For Miami, Logan Neaton will start his 6th game of the year. He has been the RedHawks goaltender in every game this season, in every minute in the Miami net. 4-1 record, same as the RedHawk record, 2.76 goals against average and .911 save percentage for Logan Neaton. Miami in the white uniforms today. They go with red helmets, red gloves, red pants, and they have the red accents. They are the alternate white uniforms for the RedHawks. They've got the script Miami across the front and the gray pinstripes spelling out the words love and honor down the jerseys. For Arizona State, same uniforms as yesterday, yellow helmets, gloves, and pants with the black uniforms, maroon tridents on the front, yellow names and numbers, and the maroon accents on the jerseys and socks. RedHawks moving right to left here in period number 1. Arizona State moving left to right. Sun Devils go with Brandon Tabakin and Tim Level on defense. Sillinger, Jackson, and Jackson up front, same as yesterday. Eric Frank drops our puck, and we are underway here from Cady Arena with Miami winning the opening faceoff and controlling back in their own defensive end. It's Jack Clement up the right wing, tried to find Vitalins, but Jackson tipped it away from him, and now the Sun Devils will back it into their own zone. Tim Lovell, transfer from Boston College, skates it behind his own net. ASU starting from the back. Jackson now skating it across center and dumping it in behind the Miami net. It's stopped by Logan Neaton. He hands for Clement. Clement up the wall for Moulton. Barbolini lost it on the half wall as Jackson took it away from him, but Barbolini now stealing it back. He will skate it behind his own net. He gets hooked, and a delayed penalty is coming up as the RedHawks control. Goaltender is off. Extra skater comes on for the RedHawks. It's William Helene. Barbolini, meanwhile, makes his way in. He passes it through to Vitalin's in the slot, but it was tipped off his stick. The Sun Devils will touch up, and the penalty will be called. It will be a hooking call on Dylan Jackson, senior transfer from Northeastern, who will sit for 2, and the Miami power play gets to go to work. They had a tally on the man advantage yesterday coming from Raymond's Vitalins. It will be the second power play unit that gets the start here, 44 seconds in.
Yeah, the first power play unit, and both power play units yesterday, were fantastic. Not only they went 1 for 2, they scored a goal, big goal in the third period, but they were awesome at generating momentum, which can be especially against a team like Arizona State, you need your special teams to come through, and they did.
Face-off on the left side of the Miami offensive zone. Face-off is pushed to the near side boards, and Arizona State will pull it out in control. It's ripped all the way down the ice by Shamagi. As we reach the 1-minute mark into the first period, no score. Miami on the power play following the hooking penalty to Dylan Jackson. Archer Taransky skates it up the left wing, stops just short of the blue line to hand back for Dukovac. Dukovac now with a full head of steam up the right wing into the far corner of the ASU end. It's punched back by Chambers behind his own net. Schmaggy grabs it, rims it around the boards to the near side, but Kumlin holds the zone left point. Kumlin goes down for Taransky. He's double-teamed along the half wall. Puck is whacked back to the point where Kumlin controls and goes center point for Ryquist. Ryquist over right circle. This is Dukovac skating back center point. He hands back to Ryquist. Now down low, Helene. Back up to Ryquist, top of the right circle. He backs up to the right point. Ryquist wrists one through, and it whistles wide left of the net as the RedHawks fail to get their first shot on goal. Miami still controlling in the left corner. Helene with a short pass to Taransky. Now up top center point, this is Ryquist, back left circle for Kumlin. Kumlin skates through, wrists one through looking for a tip. It just missed the stick of Helene and goes wide right of the cage. Dukovac has it on the right side wall, 49 seconds remaining in the power play. He pushes it down right corner for Helene, back center point for Kumlin. Thought about the shot, instead he goes for Ryquist. Ryquist over top of the right circle for Dukovac, now down into the corner for Helene. Back to the right point for Ryquist. He'll back it up and give back to Helene, who one touches to Dukovac. Dukovac skating in, top of the right circle, backs up to the hash marks with 30 seconds to go. He drags and shoots. It's blocked by Schmaggy, and Arizona State will clear with Chambers picking up the loose puck and ripping it down. Still no shots on the power play for Miami. They had an early 5-minute major power play yesterday that they failed to score on. Spencer Cox now skating it through after the RedHawks change. He hands to Barbolini at the blue, but it's taken off his stick and cleared down the ice by Tucker Ness, the extra skater. He's making his first appearance of this series and third of the season. 2 seconds and 1 remain on the power play. ASU kills the penalty off. Meanwhile, Vitalin skates it into the ASU end and passes it back for Barbolini, who pushes it in deep. Vitalins went after it. He got crunched, though, and ASU will take it away. Schmaggy couldn't clear initially, but he finds Jackson, who does, and the RedHawks will take it and regroup back defensively. 3 minutes gone by, opening period. No score and no shots between Miami and Arizona State. Spencer Cox sidesteps a defender in his own zone. Then he takes a spill before passing up for Waldron at center ice. He cannot clear it in deep. It's stuffed by Niedermeyer. He'll send it back Miami's way. Feenstra goes for Messenberg right on the center M. He lost it for Young, who dangles it back through Messenberg's leg and now heads into the Miami zone right down the middle. Young drags and shoots. Save made by Neaton. He doesn't know where the puck is. It's still loose. It pops out front, but Barbolini clears it to the far corner of the Miami zone. And now the RedHawks will shovel it back out to center and go for a change. 16:21 to go first period. Smolin pushes it in deep for ASU. He had the major penalty yesterday. He was not disqualified, though, and remained in the game. Scored a goal later on. RedHawks take it away below their own goal line. Shifted back out to center ice. It's picked up by Dowd for ASU. He goes D-to-D for Tabakin, who rips it all the way back into the Miami end. It rings around the boards. Dowd couldn't settle it. It's taken away on the left point, and Messenberg now heads up the wing. Messenberg into the ASU zone. He'll shoot one on that's directed to the side by Homer into the corner. Messenberg collects and sends to the far side. We get a whistle, and it is because the net has come off its borings. 15:50 to go first period. Shots 2-1 in favor of Arizona State, and we are scoreless here at Goggin Ice Center. Right side face-off coming up on the offensive zone for Miami.
We saw the same look today as we saw yesterday on that penalty kill for Arizona State. There's lots of time and space up at the point. Gives guys like Max Dukovac, Hampus Rydquist, and Axel Kumlin a lot of places to work with the puck, and they've got a couple shots through but just didn't get on net. But those are the kind of looks that you want, especially early in this game.
It's the sophomore line out for Miami, and William Helene loses the faceoff. It's picked up by Dowd, who skates it up the right wing of his own zone for ASU. Dowd, untouched all the way to the center red, will cross the M and chip it in. Racing back to get it, Zane Dempsey, fresh into the lineup for Miami tonight. Hands off for Clement. Clement over to the far side of the ice for Taransky. Now back near wing for Dempsey. He'll try to push it in, but he's short of the center red and doesn't find his target with the pass. It goes all the way down for icing with 15:36 to go in the first period. Still no score. And we will get a defensive zone draw for Miami.
Can't tell if these two teams are trying to feel each other out right now. There's not a ton happening. Just a couple dump-ins. Not a lot of possession for either team either, other than that power play.
3 combined shots between the two teams, and none have been of the utmost quality. About 4.5 minutes in. Face-off on the right wing of the ASU offensive zone. And Brian Chambers pushes the face-off back, but Taransky runs into it for Miami and skates the puck back out to center. Taransky, though, coughs it up as Shane takes it from him. He passes for Chambers. Chambers couldn't get it back into the ASU zone, and so Miami will get the chance to take it back and regroup here. Helene skates it through the right side seam. Now moseys his way over to the left wing before ringing it all the way around the boards. It's on the right point where Kumlin holds the line. Taransky now skating down low. He'll reverse and pass it back up right point for Kumlin. He handles, short pass over for Taransky, who gave a cross-ice feed that nearly got picked off by Shane, and he had nobody in front of him. Would have been a breakaway if he handled it cleanly. Instead, Miami will go back and regroup in their own zone. Moulton skating through center, arm is up on something away from the play, and the whistle comes. It is a slashing penalty, and it will come on the RedHawks. We'll see who gets it. It looks like it is Thomas Daskis that is skating off for Miami. It was away from the play, as mentioned, with Moulton skating in. Was out of view of those paying attention to where Moulton was, but Daskis will sit for 2, and Miami goes to the penalty kill for the first time in a scoreless game. 14:53 to go, opening period.
Yeah, it looked like Daskis was just trying to make way for Moulton and got a little too carried away and slashed a stick out of the Arizona State player's hands, which that's a no-no.
RedHawks win the face-off forward. Waldron skates it out near center ice and will dump it into the ASU end. Coming out of his net, Homer sends it over to the far side where Sillinger finds Chambers, and now Copperrood will skate it into the right corner of the Miami defensive zone. He rings it around to the far side. A fanned-on shot by Sillinger. Puck comes back to the left point where it's dumped back in by Lovell. Puck rolls all the way around to the near side where Barbolini runs into it, and he clears out to center. A pass by Sillinger is knocked out of the air by Waldron, and he'll dump it in. RedHawks go for a change. 40 seconds into the ASU power play. Chambers goes D-to-D, tried to go for a give and go. Instead, it's Copperrood that has it back on the right wing. He'll dump it in behind the Miami net. Clement tried to chop it up the left wing, but a good job to seal the wall by Sillinger. He holds the zone. Center point, this is Lovell. Thought about teeing up. Instead, he feeds over for Sillinger. He goes down low for Chambers, going to work below the goal line. He now banks it up right point for Lovell. Mishandled it, and it's poked out of the zone. And going the other way for Miami, Sullivan will collect. Lovell got back, though, and he will just clear it in as the RedHawks go for another change. 45 seconds remaining in the power play. Still a scoreless game. Sillinger dances through center, playing some one-on-three. He sidesteps Barbolini, passes near side for Young, who collects off the boards. Young skates up to the left point and now works down the wall before going back up for Dowd and over for Sillinger. Sillinger cross-ice Young. Down low in the corner, there's no space for Tyler Gratton, the ASU captain. He'll go back up top for Young. 21 seconds remaining on the penalty as Young dumps it in deep. Puck now comes back to Young on the right point. He goes across on the left point now for ASU and into the circle. Comes back up center point for Dowd. Dowd over right side for Young. Sent one through the middle that hit off the skate of Jackson. It's collected by Waldron, and he'll rip it down with 2 seconds to go in the power play. Power play has expired as Dowd brings it back up the ice. ASU tried to transition quickly, but Miami got back and they kill off the penalty. Each team 1 for 1 on the PK so far in this game. 12:42 to go in the first period. Puck in the Miami defensive zone. Shamagi has it center point. He rips it. It's partially blocked by Dempsey and flies over the net. ASU still controlling. Shamagi has it back right point. He tees one up and fires. It's saved with the breadbasket by Neaton, and he will hang on. 12:30 to go first period. No score between Miami and Arizona State. Shots 3-1 in favor of the Sun Devils, and we have reached a media timeout. Back to Cady Arena in just a moment. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Luke West Poley, Jeff Middleton back with you. 12:30 to go, first period. No score between Miami and Arizona State. Face-off on the right wing of ASU's offensive zone. Fourth line out for the Sun Devils. Shots 3-1 in favor of ASU. Each team has had a power play. Neither has converted. Face-off win for ASU. Shimagi has it right point. He goes D-to-D for Murchison. Philadelphia Flyers draft pick rips one wide. It's picked up on the near half wall by Dukovac. He makes his way out to center. He's tripped up. Arm is up, and this will be a penalty as Eckerly will pick it up. He lays a cross-check on William Helene. Just more of a friendly shove, I should say, trying to maybe draw some retaliation, but Helene just says some words and skates away, and it will be Eckerly that will sit for two as he gets the tripping call, and Miami will go back to the power play for the second time with 12:18 to go in the first, and the score remaining 0-0.
We didn't get to see much of that first unit on that first power play for the RedHawks either, so this will be a good time to see what they're made of after some strong performances on the special teams unit yesterday. They looked really good. They moved the puck really well and kept it in the zone. Again, the Arizona State penalty kill's really passive, so this is where you got to make them pay.
Face-off win for the RedHawks. Spencer Cox has it center point. He feeds for Fletcher near wing. Fletcher down for Vitalins, had the power play goal yesterday. He goes up top right point for Waldron, skated in but couldn't shoot. Cox center point now rips one through traffic. It's blocked out in front and thrown into the seats by Niedermeyer. He had the block and the puck laid on edge. He was trying to clear it, but because of the puck laying up on its side, it ran its way over the glass, and with an even 12 minutes to go, 17 seconds into the power play, it will be a left wing face-off for Miami in the offensive zone.
Didn't hit anybody either, thankfully.
Thankfully. It's a danger zone.
That's right.
My brother, when we were about 5 or 6 years old, almost got hit sitting in that exact same spot. My dad lifted him out of his seat, and the puck left a mark on the seat behind him. RedHawks win the face-off. Spencer Cox has it. He goes in the center of the slot for Fletcher. Gave it back for an unsuspecting Waldron off balance. He just taps it back. Somehow he kept hold of it going back for Cox, but it is poked off his stick, and Vitalins will have to recover it in neutral ice. Some miscommunications there for the Miami power play. Barbolini now walking across the zone. He goes over for Waldron, drags and shoots high and wide. John Waldron from a dangerous area. He had the overtime winner yesterday. The puck rings off the glass all the way back down where Waldron recollects. Smolin doing a good job on the penalty kill forecheck to kill some time. 56 seconds have cleared off the power play. Vitalins with speed through center. Pumps the brakes and now twists it through the middle. Cox, though, had to wait back on it, and there was a stretch available, but instead it's just cleared down the ice by Shimagi and will be picked up behind the Miami net by Logan Neaton. He had Kyle Smolin breaking down the far side of the ice for a breakaway, but he didn't see him for the stretch pass. So the RedHawks catch a break. Second unit on for Miami. This is Dukovac heading forward. He dumps it into the zone, and it rings around to the far side. Holding it in along the right point, Ryquist pinched down. Dukovac now gets hit, but he is able to pin the puck against the wall, and now it pops free for Taransky, whose stick got stuck in the Zamboni doors, and he will have to head off the ice to get a new one. RedHawks do hold the zone as Kumlin goes down low for Barbolini. Center point Ryquist far side. One-timer comes in by Dukovac, but that goes wide. Now a deflection, and the puck comes back in front, but it will trickle harmlessly wide. Ryquist left point with 5 seconds left on the power play. Goes over for Dukovac, back for Ryquist. He blasts when it got tipped by Barbolini, but it goes wide of the net, and Arizona State kills the penalty. Eckerly trying to stretch, but a good job by Kumlin to cut off the pass as the Sun Devils look to move it up ice. Puck in the left wing, Arizona State side. Dukovac dangles through one, got through a second, but lost the puck in the process. And now we get a whistle, and it looks like maybe too many men on the ice. I'm counting 6 guys, I believe, for somebody, and that looked like that was the official signal.
The net was off as well. Not sure if that was what it was, but yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah, it was the net was indeed off. So the 6th guy came on, I think, after the changes were already coming on. That was after the whistle blew. Looked like the official was making the too many men signal, but instead the net was off, and it will come out of the zone as it was pushed off by a RedHawk, and so it will be a neutralized draw with 10:02 to go in the first period. Still scoreless between Miami and Arizona State. No shots on goal on that power play for the RedHawks. Shots still in favor of the Sun Devils 3-1. Miami wins the neutral zone faceoff. It's Feenstra and Drasner, the defensive pairing. 2 of 8 that have dressed for Chris Bergeron here today. Puck came into the ASU zone. They'll clear it all the way back out where Drasner regroups in his own end. Quickly, he goes up ahead for Messenberg, skating it into the ASU zone right wing. Messenberg shields it away from one. Now hands off down low for Drasner in the corner. Reverses for Feenstra. Drags and shoots. It's blocked out front. Feenstra still has it, but a good job to poke it away from him by O'Reilly. And Feenstra's forced into the corner. Fletcher now leaves it for Drasner. Open space. He'll shoot and score. Robbie Drasner getting offensively involved. Got a bubble of space down the left side. Threw it through traffic, and he sneaks it in near post. Past Gibson Homer. It's Miami's second shot of the game, and it is the game's first goal. The RedHawks lead it 1-0 with 9:24 to go in the opening period.
Yeah, and the RedHawks have been really good at creating chaos in front of the net. You could see kind of after that block shot by the Arizona State defender that they were kind of scrambling around, and Homer was way out of position in his net, and Drasner found some space and was able to take advantage of it.
For Robbie Drasner, that's his first point of the year, first goal. And for the senior from Buffalo Grove, Illinois, it's his 5th goal of his career. RedHawks have it now, right wing of the offensive zone. It's wristed in by Jack Clement, but below the goal line, Dowd will reverse it to the far side, and now passes it back up near wing for Jackson. Jackson tried to thread it through for Sillinger. RedHawks broke that up. They'll take it back and now bring it in on net on the dump in. It will be gobbled up by Homer, and an offensive zone draw coming up on the right side for Miami with 8:55 to go in the first period. Drasner from Fletcher and Feenstra will be the official scoring on that one. Fletcher gets his 3rd assist of the year. For Mike Feenstra, the sophomore, he gets his 2nd point of the season.
Those are the kind of shots that you need as well. Perfect, it's great skating move from Drasner to pick up that puck after Fletcher blocked it from going up the wall. And, you know, this ASU team can make you pay on defense. They're really good at blocking shots, but if you can find holes, you can find space, you can make them pay.
It was a bad drop the first time out, and another bad drop that hit Vitalin's stick before it got down on the ice. And
a little
so
PTSD from yesterday, right?
Yeah, we'll have to re-drop. That is one thing that I know there is an NCHC officiating supervisor at every game, and nothing drives them nuts more than when the ref cannot get the puck down on the ice. They finally do get it down. Miami wins the faceoff, but ASU will apply some pressure and take it back. Murchison gets through the center red and dumps it in on the right wing for Miami. It's picked up in the left corner by Dempsey. Now a pass out front. It deflected off the stick of Vitalin. Shamagi taking it away, and Shamagi will throw one out in front. Nobody there for ASU. Now Murchison tees up a blast, but it's blocked by Waldron. RedHawks have it in the corner. Barbolini now swinging through the middle, and he will take it and break out for Miami into the ASU zone on the right wing. He rips one in on a snapshot. Blocker save made by Homer. Chambers has it now as the game is developing into a bit of a track meet. That's something Chris Bergeron said he noticed late in the game yesterday. Didn't necessarily like it, but kind of happened naturally between these two teams. More rush chances. Miami will now dump it into the ASU zone and go for a change. Headed up the far side of the ice, Brandon Tabakin will drag and shoot a snapshot. Shoulder save made by Logan Neaton on the right side. It'll deflect into the protective netting with 7:58 to go in the first period. Shots have evened up for a side, and 1-0 Miami is our score.
Yeah, and I think yesterday you saw, first period the RedHawks had a lot of the chances, or at least the more high-danger chances, and in the second period ASU kind of took over. Both were structurally sound in the offensive zone, and then in that third period, just a bunch of back and forth between these two teams.
Face-off flutters to the end wall where it's picked up by Mike Feenstra for Miami. Feenstra goes for Dukovac. Plays some catch with Kumlin. Dukovac has it back now on the left wing, skates it into the ASU zone. Dukovac circles the zone, leaves it behind the ASU net where Helene shields a man off and tried to backhand it up for Feenstra on the point. Pass is picked off by Young. Young going 2-on-2 the other way. He'll wrap it into the zone on the dump attempt on the far side. Miami sniffs it out though, and now Kumlin heads the other way up the right wing. Kumlin tried to pass it through the middle. A clear attempt got tipped, and now Feenstra has it on the left side. He tried to throw it through the crease, but the backdoor attempt was blocked. A big hit laid by Fletcher, and the RedHawks control. Fletcher sends one wide off a tip from an ASU defender, and now the Sun Devils control behind their own net. Young will break it out up the right wing, and through center he gets a cross-ice feed to Sillinger as the first line comes on for ASU. Sillinger risks it in on net on the dump, and Neaton gloves it and holds on with 7:03 to go in the first period. Still 1-0 Miami.
Yeah, good chance down here for the RedHawks. Just a little bit unfortunate. Tried to make a patient pass through the seam, but unfortunately the Arizona State defender was able to get his leg in front of it, I believe, was what blocked that. But
it was Mike Feenstra that almost had the pass, and that would have been Feenstra's second point. Face-off win for the Sun Devils. Jackson ran through and gave a shot off the draw that got blocked. Second attempt by Murchison and third both get blocked by Sullivan. Miami bench is on their feet. 3 blocked shots in quick succession. ASU still has it. Murchison slaps one wide. Picked up on the left wing by Fletcher, and he'll now seam it through space for Clement on the far side, who's got some time. Clement goes off the stick of Jackson for ASU into the zone, so it will be no icing. Miami goes for a partial change. ASU breaking it out on their own back half as Jackson skates it in, now looking for the other Jackson through the middle, but it gets out in front of him, and Neaton sticks it to the far corner. 6:24 to go, first period. Miami leading 1-0. Puck below the goal line. Jackson sends it up top. D-to-D pass comes for Shamagi. Now center point. This is Lovell skating across. Lovell wrists it in from the left point. It got blocked by the traffic in front, and it will be one hand chipped back out to center by Max Dukovac. Lovell for ASU goes D-to-D for Shamagi. Shamagi holding it on the left side of his own zone. Tried to throw it all the way across the ice at the near blue line for Jackson, but Drasner will take it away and skate it back into Miami's own zone. Drasner goes cross ice for Dukovac, skating through the center red. Miami got delayed briefly as Dukovac tried to pass it across, and puck crossed the blue line late. Dukovac touched it up, and it's offside with 5:50 to go in the first period, and we have reached a timeout on the ice. RedHawks score first as Miami strikes to take an early lead in this one with 5:50 to go in our first period. Our score is Miami 1 and Arizona State 0. Stay tuned. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .550 to go, first period. Luke West Poley and Jeff Middleton with you from Cady Arena. 1-0 Miami leads over Arizona State as Robbie Drasner opened the scoring for Miami. Senior defenseman getting the offense started for the RedHawks, looking to go for the sweep. Miami's got their top line out against the fourth line of Arizona State. It's Vitalins, Barbolini, and Waldron for the RedHawks against Eckerly, Smolin, O'Reilly. Neutral ice draw on the near side of the ice.
Arizona State's not going to go away either. There's a big defensive shift from Ryan Sullivan and Teddy Lagerbach, both putting their bodies on the line to block some shots from the point that looked like they were going to go through. 6 blocked shots in this first period so far for Miami. Arizona State dumps it in behind the RedHawk net. Logan Neaton out to get it. He'll ring it around the glass where Smolin struggled to handle it. Barbolini, though, couldn't clear for Miami. Drasner now has it near corner. He'll go D-to-D for Ryquist. He has some room to skate and now goes up the far side for Waldron. Waldron banks it ahead for Vitalins. Puck popped in the air, and it was swatted at as Vitalins hit it into the seats, and a fan caught it on the fly. Nice catch. Neutral ice draw coming up with 5:20 to go first period. 1-0 Miami still. Arizona State with an arrow shots lead at 5-4, and they will take this draw at center ice with each team throwing out their second line here. Shane Grattan Chambers for ASU, Dukovac, Helene Taransky for Miami. Right on the center dot, ASU wins the draw, and Shane will push it back to his defense. Ness going D-to-D for Dowd, who pushes it into the far side of the zone. It rings behind the net where Logan Neaton picks it up and sends it to the near wall. Arizona State, though, controlling. Shane behind the Miami net goes up to the left point for Dowd. Walking the line, he goes all the way across right point now.
Dowd will stop and get stuffed up by Taransky, who chips it out past the line, and Helene takes it away. The RedHawks will head forward. Helene sends that one wide off a nice tip. It was a developing potential odd man rush. ASU did well to get back, though, and defend it. More of a 2-on-2, not much Helene could do. RedHawks, though, do control it. Kumlin just sends a knuckler through that Taransky tried to get a tip on. Save was made by Homer, and ASU goes the other way. Shane sending that one forward. A close play at the blue line, but ASU does push it in deep. Helene has it now for Miami and goes behind the back off the wall behind his net to Kumlin. Helene has it back now, and he will skate it out through the middle of the ice, cross the red, and dump it in as the RedHawks go for a change. 4:18 to go in the first period. Shimagi has it below his own goal line. He will stop behind his own net as ASU swings some bodies forward. Murchison skating through center. He sends it to the near side. Backhanded attempt by Alexander, who had speed down the right wing, whistles wide. Puck is poked to the near half wall. Sullivan holding on to it. Sends a short pass backward for Messenberg, who chipped out intending to find Fletcher, but ASU will take it back and rip it back in. Moulton in the near corner of his own zone sends it down the ice. The puck took a tip, though, and it will not be icing. Murchison back to get it behind his own net with 3:39 to go in the first. Fletcher applying some pressure. Shimagi has it now. He is hit by Messenberg, but backhands it ahead for Murchison. Murchison can't get it through center. ASU forced to retreat back into their own zone once again. Shimagi will go back to it, and the pressure will lighten up from Miami as they go for a change. Full head of steam for Alexander up the right wing. He'll go high off the glass into the Miami end. Drasner, the goal scorer, picks it up and sauces it over looking for Messenberg, but it got past him, and it was blasted in. A save was made on Tabakin by Neaton. Waldron now has it near half wall. He'll go all the way across the ice for Drasner. Drasner skating it past one into the ASU zone on the right wing. He lost it, but Vitalin's there to wrap it to the near corner. Barbolini has it now playing 1-on-2. It's poked away, but Waldron goes up left point for Dempsey. Dempsey across to the right point for Drasner. Wrists it through. It's blocked down by Tabakin in front. He finds Jackson, and he pokes it just out of the zone before Vitalins can get to it. 2:39 to go in the period as Miami gets it back into the ASU end. Barbolini trying to dangle, but Tabakin did well to defend him. Short pass to Sillinger now comes across for Jackson, who gets hit hard by Cox. He put the puck past him, but Spencer Cox did not let him through. Sillinger now with a steal on the offensive end. He will shoot from the bottom of the right circle, and it will go high into the netting as Cox gets a little bit involved after the fact with Ty Jackson. He was not the Jackson who was hit. It was Dylan Jackson that got blown up, and just kind of that classic hockey play where you push it through the guy's legs or you push it behind him. He lets the puck through, but he does not let you through. Spencer Cox, the big transfer from LIU, 6 foot, 185 pounds, laid a big thump on Dylan Jackson, the senior.
And Dylan went over to the bench, hunched over. He was not feeling too good after that hit. Spencer Cox has really impressed me this weekend. I think he's impressed me against Canisius as well, but he's a strong two-way defender with some good offensive instincts. Great quarterback of the first power play unit as well. He's been doing some good work.
Ohio native from Columbus, transferred in from LIU. Off the face-off, the puck is in the near corner where Dukovac pokes it for Ryquist. He will feed Cox behind the Miami net, who holds on with 2:06 to go in the period. Ryquist on the near wall will flip it up ahead. This one gets past Taransky, but it'll beat out the icing. Tried to one-touch it in front for Dukovac, but he fanned on it. Dukovac will race it down in the corner, though, and now play some 1-on-2 and get past both guys. Dukovac skating up the right boards. He'll curl and now cut it back. Dukovac goes up to the right point for Kumlin. Kumlin handling, wrists one wide, and there's nobody there to get it for Miami. O'Reilly gets it on the hash marks. Struggled with it, though, and couldn't clear out to center. Luckily, Dowd is there to do so, and he will flutter it back out to the end. Feenstra back with it for Miami. Tried to go ahead for Taransky. Looked to tip it into the zone, but Ness blocked it down with his body and laid a nice hit on Taransky. ASU now regrouping in their own end. Smolin sends a pass forward looking for Grattan on the near blue. Gets past him, but does get a tip, so no icing. RedHawks get it back in their own end. Fletcher will send it off the glass and back out to center with 1:13 remaining in the first period. Through
real
center.
Close to a slash there. Sorry, Luke, but there's a real close to a slash there. Oh, and there's a...
Grattan threw down Kumlin when the two were battling for position, headed to the puck, and the officials, it looks like, are just going to get Grattan, so Miami is going to go to the power play. Kumlin and Grattan were both involved with each other. They were both battling for position. Both guys pretty similar in stature. Grattan 6'2", 200. Kumlin 6'1", 195. But Grattan laid the big shoulder into Kumlin that caused him to go down to the ice. That was before either guy arrived at the puck, and the ASU captain and grad transfer from Penn State will go to the box, and Miami will have their third power play with 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining in the first period, leading 1-0.
Yeah, not a bad hit by any means, just a little bit too far away from the puck for the referee's liking.
Top power play line on for Miami, but they lose the face-off, and ASU will take it and send it down as we creep under 1 minute to go in the first period. Spencer Cox has it behind the Miami net and will skate it up ahead. Miami 0 for 2 on the power play so far today. Vitalin's the goal scorer on the man advantage yesterday. Hands over for Fletcher. Now back for Cox. Spencer Cox spins, finds Barbolini at the left point. Barbolini skating to the circle. He'll leave it off for Fletcher. Now Cox has it center point with 30 seconds to go in the period. Vitalin's thought about the one-timer left circle. Instead, he'll go over for Waldron, top of the right circle. Now down low, Barbolini had it kick off his skate. He recovers and feeds Cox on the right point. But Cox's pass down low for Waldron hit him in the shin pad. That allows Eckerly to collect the loose puck and clear. 13 seconds to go in the period. Miami might have one final rush in them here. Spencer Cox skating it ahead with 7 seconds to go across the red. Barbolini into the zone on the left wing. A bouncing puck hits off the skate of Fletcher and will deflect back out to center ice. Alexander applying a forecheck. Might have had a breakaway there if there were 10 or more seconds on the clock, but it was shield mode for P.J. Fletcher as the clock hits zeros and the horn sounds, and some guys getting involved with each other, and Spencer Cox, as he has been a couple of times, is right in the mix. But overall, after 20 minutes of play, it was a solid period for Miami, and they lead it 1-0 at the break. I said it a second ago, Jeff, but we talked about the first period yesterday. Miami thinking they played well. I think they played a whole heck of a lot better here in this first period. Really controlled the pace. They're being outshot right now 6-4, but don't think that necessarily reflects the amount of zone time that Miami had in that first period. Really felt like they had the better of the chances, and they deserve to be up at least one goal in this game, maybe even more.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I think obviously, power plays help the zone time a little bit, but I definitely agree. I think that even though they're being outshot only by a couple, that the kind of chances that they're getting on those shots are more dangerous than the ones that Arizona State has gotten. Lots of shots from the point, just great defense from the RedHawks in their own zone, and then coming down the other way on the rush. And they're creating chances in front of the net, causing a little havoc, which is making Arizona State clearly uncomfortable. So it's a big first period, a good, I'd say, a period win. But I think the next period is the one that's going to tell it all. I think yesterday we saw them kind of not fold, but lose a lot of the momentum that they had in the first. And so, yeah, the second period is going to be a big one.
Good news for the RedHawks. They'll have 56 seconds of carryover power play time headed into the second period as we take a look at some of our stats after one period of play, with Miami leading 1-0. Shots on goal in favor of Arizona State. They've got a narrow edge at 6-4, but as we just talked about, not necessarily super indicative of what happened in that first period. A lot of stuff did not go on net. Miami had 19 shot attempts to Arizona State's 17. RedHawks currently on a power play, but they are fruitless so far. Arizona State has had one chance on the man advantage. They did not score on that one either. Miami was excellent on faceoffs yesterday. However, it is Arizona State that leads in that category. They are 10 for 17 on draws in this one. And the Sun Devils, surprisingly, leading in the block tally as well, 11 to Miami's 7. You remember the RedHawks had a couple of crucial blocks very close together to one another around the midway mark of that period that really gave Miami a lot of momentum and energy on their bench. But in terms of overall blocks, Arizona State has the lead, and they trail on the scoreboard after 20 minutes of play. Once again, 56 seconds of power play time coming up for the RedHawks after the minor penalty for interference to the ASU captain, Tyler Grattan, and that will come when we come back, as the puck drop of period number 2 will be on the other side of the break. After 20 minutes of play here from Cady Arena, our score is Miami 1 and Arizona State 0. Second period coming up next in just about 10 minutes. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Second period coming up between Miami and Arizona State. Luke West Poley and Jeff Middleton with you on Red Hawk Radio. 1-0 RedHawks after 20 minutes of play as Miami looks to go for the sweep over the nationally ranked Sun Devils. And Jeff, Miami being outshot 6-4 after the first period, but they've got 56 seconds of power play time on the carryover and a very solid offensive 20 minutes for Chris Bergeron's group in the opening period.
Yeah, and I think at this point, it's all about building momentum. You don't want yesterday to happen again where Arizona State kind of took over. And these 56 seconds of power play time are a great way to start the second period. I think that, you throw your first line out there and Barbolini, Vitalins, and Waldron, and have P.J. Fletcher with Cox on that first unit. These guys can create as much offense as anybody, so we're going to see what they can do here early in this period.
Miami moving left to right in the white uniforms. Arizona State in the darks moving right to left. Sun Devils win the draw to open up the period, and Eckerly will skate it in before Vitalins checks him. Once again, Miami starting with just under a minute of power play time on the carryover minor to Tyler Gratton, an interference penalty he took late in the first. Vitalin skates it in left wing of the ASU zone. Now this is Cox skating center point. Fletcher top of the left circle, whiffed on a shot. He goes back to Cox now at the center of the point. Fletcher top of the right circle, skating towards the slot, goes across for Vitalins. Vitalins top of the left circle, down low. Barbolini tried to go across, but Waldron fanned on the backdoor attempt. Puck comes back up to the point where it's fed down low to Barbolini. He circles the right circle. Now down low, it's poked off of Fletcher's stick and cleared away. A good job on the combo effort for ASU by Murchison, who forced the turnover, and Schmaggy, who gave the clear. 6 seconds remaining in the power play. Redhawks will get it rushed up the ice, but will not get to set up for another time on the man advantage. Miami getting jammed up at center ice. Gratton out of the box, and the puck is right there in front of him. He makes a play on it, but does so with both skates on the ice. That's a legal play, and we are back skating at full strength. Miami trying to regroup. Cox coughs it up in his own zone. Going low to high. Chambers with a spin around shot, but that goes wide. An attempt from the point by Niedermeyer got blocked by the shin pad of Waldron. Waldron has it now in the near half wall. Niedermeyer slaps it away from him. Second effort, and Niedermeyer again holds the zone. Gratton skating it across. He backhands one wide. It's pushed back in front by Shane, but the Redhawks arrive there first and will lift it back out. Dowd getting to it. Dukovac hurries him, but Dowd will circle away from him on the far side wall in his own zone and get it through center. Chambers now coming the other way. 2-on-1 developing for Arizona State. It slid across, but it could not be finished by Gratton. He had the whole net to shoot at, and he pushed it wide right. Gratton again behind the net. Back out in front for Shane. A point-blank shot goes wide right as well. And Miami will clear the zone and rush it back through center as Shane tried to lay a huge hit, and he swung and missed. Miami pushes it deep. Taransky tried to go back for Feenstra, but in the way, it's taken away by Sillinger. He goes out for Jackson. Jackson skating down the left wing, stops and shoots. It stopped. Rebound comes out. They score. Lucas Sillinger got to that loose puck right in the slot, and he bangs it in the right post. ASU comes out flying following the penalty kill in the second period. And with 17:49 to go in the middle frame, ASU ties it up at 1.
Yeah, we talked about it. You can't let this ASU team get their momentum back, and they sure did. We're only a little over 2 minutes into this period, and it's all ASU right now. This is not the way you want to start if you're Chris Bergeron's Redhawks. 2
point-blank efforts that were both wide of the net for Arizona State, but the third time was the charm for Lucas Sillinger. Gets his second goal of the series and his third of the year. Miami working out of the back. A pass to the near side got by Sullivan, but Messenberg will collect it at center ice and give for Fletcher. Fletcher tried to give it back for Sullivan, but it will get pushed back out to center where it's collected by Clement. He rings it around. Sullivan got it tied up in his skates. It's pulled out by Lovell. He plays it to the near corner, but there for Miami, it's picked up first by Fletcher. Fletcher goes back in deep with it. Lovell takes it away. And we'll give a short pass to Tabakin, who can break it out up the near wall. Sillinger cross-ice pass to the other side. Lovell enters the Miami zone. Redhawks wanted an offside, but will not get it. Puck is reversed to the near side of the ice. Lovell now over for a one-timer by Murchison off the crossbar. Through traffic, it didn't catch a tip, but now Fletcher will break this out for Messenberg. He skates it into the ASU end on the right wing. Cross-ice feed for a wide-open Waldron off the bench, but he couldn't drag it by Murchison. Drasner now in the left point, wrists it through space. It's tipped. The first attempt is saved. Second is pushed wide by Barbolini as the Redhawks get one shot there, but the team's continuing to go back and forth. Puck is pushed back out to center. Ryquist gets there first. He got spun around, though, and he will haul down Copperud, pulling his legs out from under him, and that will be a penalty as Miami touches up. And with 16:27 to go, a dream start for ASU here in the second. They get the equalizing goal, and they will go to the power play.
Yeah, I mean, things are only getting worse right now. This is not at all how you want to start this period. It's a big, I mean, we saw it yesterday too, the kind of momentum shift, and Arizona State really got off to I would say they've gotten off to a better start in this period tonight than they did last night, but still, just lots of chances. And it's not like the RedHawks haven't had any. They had a couple, and if, you start to wonder what this game would look like if Matt Barbolini and Johnny Waldron connected on that pass across the crease. But unfortunately they didn't, and now this game's tied, and Arizona State's on the power play.
Second try in the man advantage for ASU. Dowd at the center point has it. Game tied at 1. Shane in the left circle works it back up left point for Dowd. Cross ice over for Young. Now he goes back down low. Push back up high center point for Dowd. He sends a tipped shot through that Jackson got a stick on. Shoulder saved by Neaton. 20 seconds into the power play in the corner. Young goes back up center point for Dowd. Fake the shot goes for Shane. Cross ice over for Young. A sprawling save. Rebound. It's loose. It's blocked out front by a RedHawk. That was Dempsey. He saves a goal. Waldron, and he will clear.
Wow.
Waldron whacked that one out, and it just squeaked by the shoulder. Zane Dempsey crouching in front of a wide open net makes the block, and Miami keeps the game tied. Young trying to dance his way in. Puck is taken off his stick. It skitters in deep where Waldron got turned around. Messenberg trying to pry it free. Kumlin finally does, but it will just slow roll up to the near point where Shane gets there for ASU. Push down low, an attempt to go low to high got cut off, and Waldron will collect and clear off the wall as we cross the minute mark of the power play. 15:23 to go, second period, tied up at 1. Lovell backing up into his own zone as ASU tries to regroup. A D-to-D pass got by Chambers, and Messenberg will push it in deep for Miami. Trying to go in front for Sullivan, who tipped it high in the air and over the top of the net. ASU will take it the other way. Up the left wing side, Jackson looking for Chambers. It hopped over his stick. He'll clear it into the Miami zone, and behind the RedHawk net, Kumlin will blast this one on the near side. Sillinger holds the left point. Sillinger, the goal scorer, over for Lovell on the right point. He's hurried by Messenberg. Lovell has it back now, goes left point for Sillinger. Back up for Lovell, a one-timer, and that might have hit the post. RedHawk glove is on the ice, as now another wrist shot from Lovell comes through. It got tipped by a RedHawk in front. That was Kumlin into the protective netting with 14 seconds to go. Very unassuming shot there, but it was through traffic. Didn't have a ton of speed, but it did beat Logan Neaton. He gets saved by the post. 14:41 to go in the second. 14 seconds remaining on the penalty, and ASU still cannot find that power play goal despite many solid chances.
Yeah, the RedHawks are dodging some major bullets right now, and I think it's interesting for this ASU team. Their defense is a lot of this. They're really good at creating space. That shot from Lovell was partially due to the fact that he could use his feet to create space, and we saw that from Dowd yesterday for ASU as well on that power play, that he made some nice moves and got all the way to the net. So it's a big step for Arizona State, and they don't have much time left on the power play here.
Dowd skating it down, 6 seconds remaining on the power play. Dowd's got it left point, cross ice, Lovell blasted. It's blocked with the upper body of Clement. Second try is sent wide by Shamagi. The RedHawks kill the penalty and are back to full strength. Moulton sends it up for Kumlin out of the box. Odd man rush coming up for Miami. Kumlin tried to force it in front, but a good job by Lovell to get in the way, and he stuffs the pass. ASU out at center. Chambers had it taken from him by Helene. He'll just clear it back to the Sun Devil end as Miami will go for some changes and reset some lines. Pass came up through. That was tipped by Copperwood into the Miami zone. RedHawks collect it behind their own net, and now Clement will race it up the near side. Clement gets the center red, tried to clear it in, but it was stopped at the ASU blue line. Sun Devils coming the other way. It's Eckerly along the left wing who will make his way down to the hash marks and now corner of the Miami zone. Eckerly reversing ice over to the far side. Fletcher playing 1-on-2. Trying to push it up to the point, but it comes down to O'Reilly, who will take it and get it back to the right point. Going D-to-D for now for Tabakin. Sent it through the middle. Eckerly couldn't get a shot off because his stick was lifted, and now the puck will be rimmed to the near wing. Clement pushing it up. He got a good shot, but still got it out to Lagerbach at center. Lagerbach can't clear it in on the first try. The second try, he sends it right to Tabakin, who immediately goes back up ice. Eckerly will one-touch it into the Miami end. It goes on net, and Neaton is going to pounce on this and cover with 13:13 to go. An offensive zone draw coming up for the Sun Devils, who are now doubling up Miami in shots, 12-6. And both teams can go for some changes. Talked about at the end of the first, Jeff, that shots weren't really indicative of how the game was going, but they certainly are now. With ASU doubling up Miami, and that's certainly deserved the way that Sun Devils have applied pressure.
Yeah, and I think that at this point you're just trying to settle in, right? The shots are doubled up. You've had this game's tied now. You settle in. They had that last shift was still solid in the defensive zone. They looked a lot more controlled.
Stretch pass for Taransky. He's got it one-on-one, and he can't dangle through Murchison. A nice job by the Flyer draft pick to poke it away. Redhawks, though, do get some forecheck, and Helene below the goal line sends it across. Murchison, though, got caught awkwardly in some contact, and he is slow to get up and grimacing in pain on all fours. He will now help himself to his feet as play was stopped due to his injury, and he will head off. It's tough to see what he is favoring.
Like he got hit up high. I'm not sure if he fell over or if he. All I know is that he got hit by Helene just a little. It was awkward. He was like on all fours and then had his head kind of, the upper part of his body kind of taken out.
And now Tyler Gratton coming over to the officials wants an explanation as to what happened. It's a media timeout on the ice. We'll keep it here for now. 12:55 to go in the second period. 1-1 between Arizona State and Miami in the series finale between the RedHawks and the Sun Devils. Miami will start up conference play coming up next weekend as they will be at St. Cloud. Next time they're back here at home is in 2 weeks when they host Colorado College November 10th and the 11th. 7:05 starts both nights, as will be the start times all season long here at Cady Arena. Next week, the opponent for Miami, St. Cloud, an 8:30 Eastern start on Friday and a 7 o'clock Eastern start on Saturday at the Brooks Center up in the state of Minnesota. St. Cloud team that's had a bit of an up and down start to the season, suffered a shock defeat on opening weekend at the hands of former Miami head coach Rico Blasi's St. Thomas Tommies, who've had themselves a nice start to their year. But always a tough opponent. That's also an extremely tough place to play up in St. Cloud, and always a formidable opponent that the RedHawks have to face a couple of times, and that's just been a building that has been a house of horrors for Miami over the past few years. They've given up double-digit goals in at least one of the two games over the course of a weekend. The last two times they've been to the Brooks Center the last 2 years. So they'll look to exercise those demons next week.
See, as much as this is a test for them against a ranked opponent, it's going to be a big game, big set of games for them.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Chris Bergeron, he's talked about it many times throughout his press conferences, and this week was no different when, you talk about tests and who you start the season with versus who you're playing now. You play an Atlantic hockey team in Canisius and kind of a bottom-of-the-barrel CCHA team in Ferris State, and that's all fine and good. And you say, yeah, this is a test because we've got a ranked opponent coming in Arizona State. But then you look at your conference schedule, and it's just ranked opponents every week. That's just the nature of the NCHC. And Chris Bergeron joking a little bit, talking about this Arizona State team, said their power play is good and their penalty kill's good. But so is everybody else that Miami faces in conference play. It feels like every time we preview these series, whether it's Denver, North Dakota, St. Cloud, whoever it may be coming in, it's a formidable opponent every weekend that does a lot of things right. And so for Miami, this is an opponent that Chris Bergeron said is very comparable to the teams they'll face in conference play, and it makes sense as they are admitted into the conference next year. Arizona State will be the 9th member of the NCHC starting next season.
I was going to say that I was looking through the standings today, and the only team that I think is below 500 is St. Cloud, and that's because they've had those losses early in the season, and then they took a game against Denver and then lost to Denver. It's been like you said, Luke, it's been a little bit of an up and down stretch for them. But either way, they're gonna be a good team no matter what. They've been a good team for a long time now, and it's gonna be a real test. It's gonna be real. We're able to see what the RedHawks are made of. This was a big weekend, and now starting now, every weekend's a big weekend for them.
Media timeout was over. They had to do some repairs to the ice, but they've got it all set up. Neutralized face-off with Miami moving left to right, and William Helene wins the draw as we move under 13 minutes to go in this second period. Puck is wristed in, and Helene collects it below the goal line. He will chip it over to Taransky in the right corner, who gets around one defender but is pinned by Niedermeyer in the corner. Reinforcement arrives by way of Alexander, the center. Took it for Arizona State but couldn't clear. Helene has it along the half wall, goes up top for Kumlin. One touch down low for Dukovac, tried to reach up and paw that out of the air, but it got by him, and now below the goal line, it's Alexander controlling for the Sun Devils. Short pass to Niedermeyer, and he'll ring this one around the glass. Feenstra going back on it for Miami. It's short of icing as Young is on Feenstra's hip the whole way and crunches him up against the wall. And the Sun Devil forecheck will take it away briefly, although Miami now gets the loose puck and chips it forward. And a 2-on-2 coming back up the ice for the RedHawks. Feenstra drops for Dukovac. Top of the right circle, he leaves for Kumlin. Kumlin going across. It came off the skate of Vitalin's in on net, and it was directed wide as Vitalin's has it back now, and a blocker save is made by Homer. Dukovac circling around. He finds Vitalin's on the near corner. Pushed behind by Vitalin's over for Taransky. A mixed line out for Miami between first and second due to a partial change. Vitalin's has it on the right side after winning the puck over two Sun Devils. He feeds Dukovac down low. Dukovac reverses around, one hands it ahead, but it pass is picked off. Miami, though, does forecheck and push it back in deep. Taransky did so, but now the RedHawks will go for a full change and let Arizona State take possession.
That's the kind of shift you needed, too. That sophomore line really getting that momentum back from Miami, so let's see if the other lines can build off of that. Gratton
has it in deep in the right corner of the Miami zone, right against the Zamboni doors that we saw Artur Taransky lose his stick on earlier on. 11:05 to go. There's two guys involved in a puck battle. Finally, it springs free as Chambers pulls it out and brings it up to the point. Murchison left point throws one in. It's blocked with the stick of Ryquist, and Barbolini will collect the loose puck and skate it out, but Ryquist whacked it to Barbolini with his hand as Ryquist was on all fours, I should say, and by NCAA rules, that's a hand pass, even though it's in the defensive zone, and so it will be a D-zone draw for Miami with 10:54 to go in the second period. Still tied at 1 between the RedHawks and the Sun Devils.
Yeah, and I think at that point, you kind of take what you can get. Not a bad play by Radquist. You get the whistle. Just keep Arizona State from recovering the puck and getting more chances.
Face-off win in the D-zone for the RedHawks. Dempsey rims it all the way down. A collision on the far side, but both guys missed the puck, and it goes all the way down for icing. Shimagi and Barbolini ran into each other on the far blue line while Shimagi was trying to hold the zone and Barbolini was trying to go up ahead. Barbolini was pleading his case either about a penalty or that Shimagi could have made a play on that puck, but it's just an icing with 10:47 to go. Left wing face-off for ASU's top line in their offensive zone. Top forward line is out for Miami. It's Jackson against Vitalin's on the faceoff. Both guys false starting a little bit.
I don't think Greg Powers was too happy with Matt Barbolini on that play over on the far wall. It looked like he was yelling at the ref.
Yeah, it was right in front of Greg Powers in the ASU bench. 16th year head coach dating back to the ACHA days for ASU, former player as well. RedHawks get it up. Waldron advances free, but couldn't get it to Ryquist. Now Waldron has it back behind the ASU net as a quick developing play came through. Waldron turns around and shoots. It's blocked by Jackson, who chips it by, but Ryquist delays him at center, and that will prevent an odd man rush for the Sun Devils. ASU does get it into the Miami zone. Now Sillinger, one touches it for Dowd. He shoots, and a shoulder save is made by Neaton, and it will be lobbed out to center for the RedHawks by Ryquist. Track meet hockey over the last 2 minutes. Jackson moves it into the Miami zone on the left wing. Finds Sillinger in the slot. Down low for Jackson. He tips it on, but it's saved with the glove hand of Logan Neaton. That top line has had some tremendous quick puck movement. It's on the stick, off the stick right now for Sillinger, Jackson, and Jackson. But a good job to come out of the net there for the big goaltender, Logan Neaton. He holds on with 10:05 to go in the second.
Yeah, and it hasn't just been with the puck, man. That first line in particular for ASU off the puck have been fantastic. You see on that rush, they go 1-2, and then you have a guy cutting through the middle of the two defensemen. And with Blake Messenberg, the center, all the way down on the other end, and the other guy's changing, that only spells bad news.
Face-off win for ASU in the offensive zone. Game is tied at 1. We have passed the halfway mark of the second period. Miami picks it up behind their own net. Sullivan goes through the middle for Moulton, who chips it off the wall and into the ASU end on the right wing. Moulton rims it around. There's 3 Sun Devils over there and no RedHawks, but they will try to advance it up the far boards and accidentally put it into the Miami bench. And so this will mean a face-off coming up. It will be in the neutral zone because the last touch for Arizona State came outside their defensive zone. And so 9:45 to go, and Miami sends out the second line to deal with the second line of ASU.
The second line for ASU has been, we've talked about them both days. They've been fantastic, and, Arizona State might be up by now if Gratton was able to put that puck home on the wide open net. But those are the kind of chances that these guys generate. They've been in and around the Miami net the entire weekend.
Grattan got a pass from right to left, had the whole net to shoot at, and shot it back across the net and missed it inches wide of the right post. That was a few minutes ago. A pass through the middle. Dukovac got hit hard, but still found Helene. But that still draws some praise from the ASU bench as Miami gets the puck back. It's been some physical play at times between these two teams. Taransky moving it into the ASU zone right wing, finds Dukovac in the slot, backhands over for Feenstra. A wrister save made by Homer. Over on the far wall, pass is too far out in front of Shane. It comes back Miami's way, and a bank pass finds Taransky on the near wing as the RedHawks regroup. Feenstra, far wing of zone end, backhands it back for Kumlin. Kumlin will circle as ASU goes for a change. That alleviates some pressure. A pass threaded through the middle. Got tipped away from Dukovac and chasing it down. Tabakin whacks it back out to center ice where O'Reilly runs into it with some speed. He lost the puck though, and the RedHawks will take it back. Helene just outside his own blue line. Backhand shovels it backward into his own zone. A cross-corner dump into the RedHawk end. But Miami's got plenty of guys back there, and Helene now has it on the near wing. Cross-ice pass for Feenstra. He goes for Fletcher, who just one touches it behind the ASU net. It actually bounces back out in the crease area, and Homer will cover it up with 8:40 to go. 1-1 between Miami and Arizona State in the second period. Shots in favor of the Sun Devils 13-8, and an offensive zone faceoff coming up for Miami.
Yeah, and I think as of right now, if you're head coach Chris Bergeron, this is where you want to be. You know, you gave up a lot of shots towards the beginning of the period. It looked like you were on your heels, and now it looks much more like a balanced period. The RedHawks aren't as dominant as they were in the first, but they still, you know, they don't look shell-shocked after coming out of that media timeout. They look a lot better, a lot more controlled.
Middle part of this period has certainly been a lot more even than the first bit was as ASU wins the defensive zone draw and clears out to center. RedHawks will regroup from there, but Cox lost it, and now the Sun Devils take it the other way. Eckerly into the middle. A shot goes wide by Smolin as he was tearing through the slot, and now Cox will lift this one out near the rafters. And a swing and a miss attempt there from Murchison. The RedHawks make their way in. Fletcher pokes that one high and wide. Arm is up, and so a delayed penalty is coming up. Logan Neaton making his way off as Cox has it now left point. Extra skater is on for Miami. Pass will come that way. The extra skater is Artur Taransky. He's got it. Taransky walks the line, feeds Drasner near wing. Drasner goes center point for Cox. Cox had it hop over a stick and will ring it all the way around, but some open space for Fletcher, and the delayed penalty continues on. 7:55 to go in the period. Drasner has it right point, skating across the blue. Goes over to the far wall for Daskis. Now back up top for Drasner. Over for Fletcher. Makes his way in. He shoots. It got tipped, and it goes high and wide. Cox pushing it back down low in the corner. Lagerbach trying to navigate through traffic. Back up to the left point. Cox goes D-to-D for Drasner. Into the middle. Fletcher over for Daskis. One-timer, but he fanned on it. Lagerbach tried to poke it in front. Now Fletcher with a drive, and that one sitting in front of the net is finally touched up after getting blocked down. A really nice job by Miami to keep possession of that puck for about 45 seconds following the penalty, but finally a touch-up, and we will get our call. It will be a slashing minor on Ty Murchison, and so that will send Miami to the power play for the fourth time. The RedHawks are 0 for 3 today, 7:27 to go in the second period, tied up at 1. But a nice momentum shift, and the RedHawks have the luxury of sending out their top power play unit, Barbolini, Vitalins, and Waldron, with the defensive pairing and Cox, who's been out there for a while but will stay, along with Fletcher. Vitalins loses the draws. Niedermeyer has it in the corner, and he will rip it past Cox on the right point all the way down the ice. And it will be settled by Logan Neaton behind the net. Penalty kill on the year, 8:33 for Arizona State, 15 for 18. They gave up the power play goal yesterday, but they have been excellent this season. They were the nation's top unit last year. Cox left point down low for Fletcher with a one-timer save made by Homer, and it's cleared out the near side and all the way down the ice as we move under 7 minutes to go in the period.
Those are the kind of shots you need. That's a great look from Cox to Fletcher over in that right circle. If you can get guys in front of that net, that puck bounced a fair bit away from the net. So if you can get guys for rebounds, the chances will be there.
Behind the ASU net, Homer came out of his net, tried to clear up the near wall, but the RedHawks hold the zone. Cox with a fluttering pass that had to be kicked down by Vitalins, and he just shoved it in where it found an ASU stick and is cleared down. Neaton shovels it behind his back on the near corner. This Miami top unit has been a little bit out of sorts, admittedly, through these first few power plays, but Waldron will skate his way in and shoot. It gets tipped by Shamagi's stick, and up into the protective netting with 49 seconds to go. The RedHawks will go for a change and send out their second unit, it looks like. And indeed they will, as an offensive zone draw coming up. 1-1 hockey game, 6:15 to go second period, and 49 seconds remaining in the minor penalty to tie Murchison.
Yeah, and these guys in Helene, Taransky, and Dukovac have been so strong at even strength this period, so with the man advantage, we'll have to see what they can do here. They've been moving the puck really well. They've been retrieving it along the walls really well. They should have a good shift here.
Face-off win for Helene. It's picked up in the corner by Kumlin. He skates it now up to the left point, tried to jam it through two defenders, but Niedermeyer blocked the pass down and cleared out as far as center. Kumlin has it back now. He goes for Dukovac, who skates it diagonally to the far side across the center M. Dukovac sends a tipped puck in that came up in the air. We get a whistle, and is that an offside? Both officials pointing at
looks like
the neutral zone dot. So it must have been that dump attempt by Dukovac got tipped right at the blue line, and that delayed the RedHawks for a moment, and they stepped in offside. 5:57 to go second period, 31 seconds left on the minor penalty to Arizona State. Still a 1-1 hockey game, and both teams will keep the same lines out there. Face-off win for the Sun Devils. Tabakin's got plenty of space behind his own net to chase the puck down. He'll go D-to-D for Shimagi, who sends it all the way up the far wall and down the ice with 20 seconds now remaining on the minor penalty. Kumlin with a little momentum for Miami. Over to the far wing for Taransky, now backward to Dukovac, who heads up the left wing into the ASU end. Dukovac circling, 7 seconds left on the penalty. Rims it up for Ryquist, right point. Ryquist goes back down for Dukovac, and he will push it cross corner as the penalty expires. It'll be collected in the corner by ASU. They tried to stretch Murchison out of the box, but the RedHawks were aware and backed their defense up. ASU will get it across the center red and now dump it in. Sun Devils go for changes. Helene has it for Miami. Cross ice for Taransky. Skates past one and now enters the ASU zone on the left wing. Taransky tried to force it in for Helene in the middle, but O'Reilly was in the way, and he'll chip it off the wall back out to center. 5 minutes to go in the second period. 1-1 our score between Miami and Arizona State. Moulton's pass skipped over the stick of P.J. Fletcher. Arizona State will push it back Moulton's way. He goes to the near side for Clement. Threads a pass through, knocked out of the air by Messenberg as he crossed the blue line into the ASU end, but he lost control, and the Sun Devils will force it forward. Eckerly dumps it into the Miami zone. Moulton chasing back to it, evades a check, but turns it over. Jackson tried to rim it back behind the net for Eckerly, but it got by him, and the RedHawks will collect and clear. It was Blake Messenberg that lofts it back out to center. Eckerly will tip it into the right wing of the Miami zone. It goes behind the net. Neaton out to touch it up, but Jackson arriving first for ASU. He took a tumble. Clement coughs it up, and now Sillinger has it behind the Miami net. Sillinger will wrist it up to the far point, and Shimagi couldn't seal the wall. It gets by him and back out to center ice. Murchison feeds Jackson. Jackson now makes his way in and shoots it wide, but the RedHawks will pick it up off the end boards, and it is Fletcher that backhands it across the ice. Shimagi picks it up, and now it comes ahead for Sillinger, who drags and shoots, but Clement with a good stick directs that up into the protective netting. And we will get a stoppage in play with 3:51 to go. So we're skating even strength, 5 aside, as the RedHawks are unsuccessful on the power play. And with 3:51 to go in our second period, our score Miami 1 and Arizona State 1. We'll be back to Cady Arena in just a moment. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Second period, 3:51 remaining, 1-1 our score between Miami and Arizona State. Luke West-Poley and Jeff Middleton here with you for the series finale on Red Hawk Radio. Light week coming up next week here on Red Hawk Radio. We've got no games for you, shockingly, with the hockey team on the road. Football's on a bye. Good news is that basketball starts up the next week. It is a big weekend next weekend for the non-sports section of Red Hawk Radios. We have the annual telethon. Make sure to stay tuned for information on that. Right wing face-off in the offensive zone for ASU's top line against Miami's top line, and the RedHawks win the draw as Waldron has it along the near wing, sends a pass past everybody that goes all the way down the ice, but Shmagi arrives to it right as it gets to the goal line. Icing is waived. Shmagi pushes it 2 inches forward for Jackson, who reverses it back behind his own net. Puck is sent forward for Sillinger at center ice on the left wing. He pushes a fluttering puck all the way across. That is tracked down by Shmagi. He plays it in front, but Waldron arrives there first, and the RedHawks took it away. Nearly an odd-man rush, but Waldron overskated the puck, and now Miami will just settle it and take it into the right wing of the ASU zone. But Tollins twists it in deep. Murchison is there. He will give it up for Shmagi on the near side, who shovels it back Miami's way. Feenstra collecting in his own zone. D-to-D over for Kumlin, who rims it around to the near side. Waldron waiting on it, but Shmagi skates past him and steals the puck away. Down low, Sillinger twists one in front, but the RedHawks clear it back to the near corner. Kumlin has it now, and he'll skate it through the middle of the zone and back out to center, where a pass got past Waldron and is taken by Tabakin for ASU. Jackson now tried to tee a shot up from just inside the blue line, but he whiffed and instead pushes it into the corner. Tabakin got spun around and hit, and Miami will take the puck away and skate it to the near side of the ice, where Waldron shoots it off the stick of a Sun Devil and into the Arizona State zone. RedHawks go for a change. Sun Devils collect. Copperroot gets dumped by Reichquist as he tried to go into the Miami zone on the left wing. Reichquist skates back to get the puck in the left corner. He goes to the other side for Dukovac, who clears it out. Puck is forced back in, and Dukovac grabs it on the delayed offsides and uses it to get some momentum forward. Enters the ASU zone on the left wing, gives it back for Taransky, who sent the shot wide, and now this will come all the way back to the Miami zone off the carom. It'll be picked up by Reichquist, and the RedHawks regroup. D-to-D, Zane Dempsey goes through the middle. Dukovac gets a tip on that puck just past the center red. No icing. Homer out to get it behind the ASU net. It's quickly sprung around the far side of the boards, but the RedHawks nearly forced a turnover. Taransky at least does stutter the rush, and now ASU has it back as Young enters the Miami zone on the right wing. RedHawks jam him up as soon as he gets inside the zone, but then a puck fluttered down near the net. Copperroot nearly had a chance at it, but it went wide. RedHawks pick it up in the near corner of their own zone, but cannot clear as Niedermeyer knocked it down with the glove. Couldn't push it in all the way deep, though, and Zane Dempsey has it at the circle, and will go D-to-D as the teams back into the zone. Copperroot and Dempsey a little bit involved behind the puck, but no penalties called as Drasner skates it past the center red and clears it into the ASU zone. Messenberg has it now in the right corner of the Arizona State defensive end. Tried to play it in front. Two Sun Devils got there, though. And skating it forward, it's Brian Chambers up the left wing. He chips it by Drasner with 1 minute and 2 seconds remaining. Down low, he tried to push one in front, but it hit off the side of the cage, and the RedHawks will pick it up and clear on the backhand back out to center. Murchison over on the far side for Dowd. He goes down for Chambers, who shovels it back in behind the Miami net. Neaton stops it over in the far corner. It's Cox saucing it up the far wall for Sullivan, who will wait on it and now go D-to-D for Drasner. Drasner fired one up ahead that hit off the stick of Fletcher in the middle of the shaft. He directs it into the far corner ASU end. Sun Devils will get it up the near wall, back out to center with 31 seconds remaining, and Miami will blast it right back where it came from. Sun Devils get it back out to center. Shane trying to spin away from Barbolini, but he takes it away and pins him, and now Waldron coming up the right wing. He feeds for Vitalins, and he shoots just wide. Puck hit off the dasher. It's still up in the air, bouncing. Now it settles in the near corner, and Waldron picks it up. He goes for Barbolini. Left circle save is made. Rebound is out in front, but it's picked up by the Sun Devils. They can't clear. Cross-ice feed there from Vitalins got taken away, but Grattan didn't have any forward momentum. He's gassed and will just skate it across the center red and clear as time expires on the period. Good pressure from the RedHawks in the final 30 seconds or so of that period by Miami's top line. But Arizona State gets the only tally on the scoreboard in the second period. They tie the game up at 1, and it is shaping up to be a very, very fun third period between Miami and Arizona State coming up on the other side of the break. Jeff, this could have been a whole lot worse for Miami when you look at the early part of this period. It was chances galore for ASU, but they weathered that storm. They were able to come out of it giving up just 1 goal and then kind of fell into their game throughout the second part of that period. Came out even after 40 minutes of play, and now they've got a chance to pick up the sweep with the final 20 minutes on the way.
Yeah, and I think that, coming out of this period, tied is exactly what you want. Those first few minutes were sketchy, and I'm sure that the coaching staff is going to have a good long talk about those opening minutes of this period with the power play chances that were allowed and all of that jazz. But only down 3 shots at the end of that period after, Arizona State doubled their shots at one point. It was 12-6, and now it's 13-10. I think all things considered, you'll take it.
So after 40 minutes of play, our score is Miami 1 and Arizona State 1. RedHawks looking to go for the sweep. And Arizona State looking to come away with a series split, a Sun Devil team that does not go on the road a whole lot. Being an independent, they're playing a lot of home games this season and very crucial against one of the more high-quality opponents they're going to play this year, an NCHC team in Miami, that they can pick up a win for pairwise implications. An Arizona State team that, despite having some pretty good success, has struggled to make the tournament here in their early parts as a program. It'll become a lot easier. That sounds crazy to say, but when they join the NCHC, despite having a gauntlet schedule, that gauntlet schedule will allow them to lose some games and still get into the tournament. But that just furthers the importance of what ASU has to do here tonight for pairwise implications. Go to break in just a moment, but for now I want to talk about some of the upcoming events we've got. We're in our transitionary period here in Red Hawk Radio between the fall and the winter seasons here in late October. As mentioned, no events next week as Miami football is on their bye week, so no football next week. Hockey's on the road at St. Cloud, but next Saturday down to Sunday, 1 p.m. to 1 p.m., 24 hours straight of Red Hawk Radio content will come your way on our website, redhawkradio.com, on our live stream. Plenty of fun stuff will be happening there. Talk shows, events, plenty of stuff for our telethon, raising money for charity every year, which has become a great Red Hawk Radio tradition. So we hope you can tune in and donate to that. As for sports, we will get back going in 2 weeks' time as midweek action, the most wonderful time of the year, presents itself, as well as the start of basketball season. Hoping to have that first men's basketball game of the year for you as the team is at Evansville this year. That's Monday, November 6th, the 7 p.m. Eastern start. Still working out some details for that, but we're hoping to bring that to you. If not, the opener will be on Saturday as the men take on Texas State in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge at 11 a.m. that Saturday, November 11th. Miami football back at home on November 8th. That's that Wednesday, either a 7 or 7:30 p.m. start on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, CBS Sports. It's all pending on TV as the football team takes on Akron. If they win 2 of their final 3, they're into the MAC championship. Plenty of fun stuff coming your way on Red Hawk Radio over the next few weeks. Appreciate the support as always. We got 20 minutes left in this one as Miami locked up with Arizona State 1-1 after 2 periods of play. Stay tuned. Third period coming up here on Red Hawk Radio. Third period on the way here from Cady Arena. West Poley and Jeff Middleton with you. 1-1 our score between Miami and Arizona State after 40 minutes. Shots are 13-10. Shots on goal have been hard to come by, but a lot of near misses, a lot of blocks. This game has had no shortage of offense despite what we see on the scoreboard. Jeff, solid final 15 minutes of that period for Miami after giving up their early goal. RedHawks in a good spot. You're 20 minutes away. You win the final period. You sweep the weekend, but we've seen how dangerous this Arizona State team can be. They're going to send out their top line to start off here in period number 3. They came out flying in that second period and likely expect more of the same from Greg Powers' top unit.
Yeah, this ASU first line has been really good this game. I thought they were good last night, but tonight they've kind of taken over. And yeah, I mean, that after that first media timeout, the RedHawks came out. The sophomore line really did a number on the ASU defense. I thought that was kind of the turning point for that second period. So we'll see how they come out in this third.
Underway, Miami moving right to left in the white uniforms here in period number 3, and they take it out 3-on-2 as Barbolini is forced outside. He has to dump it in. Picked up by Vitalins in the far corner of the ASU zone. The puck is lifted high off the glass, rolls off the dasher, and is forced back out to center by Sillinger as the RedHawks regroup. Arizona State in the dark uniforms moving left to right here in period number 3. Dylan Moulton skates it in, left wing side of the ASU zone. Rimming it around to the far point. The puck got by Raymond's Vitalins. It's collected by Mike Feenstra. He gives for Waldron back out at center. Waldron slipped and fell, but got to his feet and will carry it across the ice and enter the ASU zone. Ripped around the boards to the near side. Dukovac tried to one-touch direct it. Helene swung and missed it. A whack opportunity. Chambers takes it the other way for the Sun Devils and shovels it into the Miami end on the right wing. Kumlin got bumped, but has the puck at his skates and finds Helene on the far half wall. Helene, though, gave it right to Chambers, but a good job by Taransky to mow him over, and now a 3-on-2 the other way for the RedHawks. Gratton gets back, makes it a 3-on-3, and he bowls over. That was Taransky, as Kumlin fires in a shot that just trickles wide. Meanwhile, Helene trying to tuck it in the front post. It's still loose. Puck pops up in the air, and Arizona State will clear. This is rolling all the way down the ice, and it will be icing. Really nice hit there by Gratton on Artur Taransky, but the RedHawks got to that loose puck, and Helene had a couple whacks at it. First, he tried to tuck it in, taking it from below the goal line and just trying to force it into the near post. But then with the puck popping out along the right pad, he tried to stuff it in, but Gibson Homer, who was kind of down on his belly, able to make that save. 18:31 to go, third period, tied up at 1. Offensive zone draw for the RedHawks, and they win it straight back, although Ryquist lost it out of the zone, trying to clear it back in. It was taken away. Nearly a 2-on-1 for Arizona State, but the puck out of reach of Shane, and so the RedHawks will grab it. Spencer Cox clearing it back out to center. Ripped in on net from center ice by Niedermeyer. It's gloved down by Logan Neaton, and the RedHawks will work from the back. Messenberg tried to pop it off the wall to himself. ASU took it away momentarily. RedHawks got it back, though, and shoved it off the near wall. Sun Devils clear back into the Miami end, where Cox races it down and goes behind his own net for Dempsey. Out in front, Sullivan, an outlet pass for Messenberg, who skates it back into his own end and goes for Dempsey. Dempsey got it back out to center, trying to fake a pass. He accidentally got rid of the puck, and the Sun Devils will take it in on the right side of the Miami end, but a good defensive play by Sullivan. He takes it away, chips it off the wall, and clears. Lovell now skating diagonally to the far side across the center M. He enters the zone left wing, circles around the net, backhands it to the far post, but a good job by Drasner to jam up the one-time opportunity that presented itself for Brian Chambers, or rather that was Matthew Copperud. Vitalins took it and cleared for Miami. Lovell goes D to D, and Tabakin fires it in on the far side of the Miami end. It's picked up now in the near wall after it rang around by Barbolini. Puck pops up in the air. It's settled by Drasner, and he goes for Waldron. Waldron skating it across the center red, and laterally he'll fire this one in on a cross-corner dump to the left corner of the ASU zone. Puck is pushed ahead for O'Reilly. He enters the Miami end on the right wing, pushing it in behind the net. RedHawks direct it over to the far wing, where Helene dishes it off the wall. Now a 3-on-2 the other way for the RedHawks. Taransky going out wide for Moulton. Nice job to whack that one away by Ness. And ASU collects behind their own net. Sun Devils get it as far as center. Moulton will go back for Helene, who coughs it up. O'Reilly now dancing to his backhand, spun it around, but Helene blocked the shot. O'Reilly has it back now, and he goes up to the left point for Dowd. Dowd down the wall the whole way. Taransky with him. Dowd still working on Taransky, and Archer will knock him off the puck, trying to chip it out of the zone. It hit off the linesman, and ASU will get it back just outside the Miami end. Eckerly back in on the right wing, tried to backhand it in front. It was directed by Moulton behind the Red Hawk net. Eckerly gets back to it and feeds Schmaggy on the right wing. He fires in a right point shot that got blocked out in front by the stick of Jack Clement. Redhawks try to force it out, but it's held in by Dowd. Banks it off the right wall to himself. Dances around Helene into the corner. Dowd tried to spin around, but Clement stuffed him. Meanwhile, the puck is poked behind the Miami net by Max Dukovac. He'll bank it off the wall, get there himself, although Sullivan was standing in the way, and now he'll just touch it to Sullivan, who goes over for Clement, and both teams will get some changes. Clement's pass intended for Dukovac got taken by Schmaggy. Sullivan got it back, but couldn't dance through 4 defenders. ASU clears it back into Miami's end. Neaton playing it behind the net. Mike Feenstra without a stick defensively for Miami. Sullivan having a lot of trouble with Jackson forechecking on him. Jackson able to work it behind the Miami net. And now Ty Jackson takes it back and goes to the point. Shot comes in from the left point by Murchison for ASU, but it goes wide. Fletcher near corner of the Miami end. Gives up for Messenberg, trying to poke it along and get it out of the zone, but a good job by Sillinger, who's filling in back on defense to hold it in. Ty Jackson tried to backhand one out in front. There was nobody there for ASU, though, and this will go all the way down the ice. It won't be icing, though, as the clear came from a Sun Devil stick past the 5-minute mark of the third period. 1-1 our score between Miami and Arizona State. Sillinger has it. He feeds Shane in the middle. Shane drags and shoots. It's off the post. Shane was playing 1-on-3, but a deadly release, and he nearly got that one in to take the lead for ASU. Meanwhile, Miami trying to go through the middle. Barbolini lost it on the center M. Sillinger takes it and turns it around into the Miami end as the Sun Devils go for a change. Kumlin up the near side, checked by Shane, still able to direct it to Vitalins, who goes across the ice for Feenstra. Feenstra sends it into the corner of the ASU end. Lovell collects behind his own net. Lovell over to the far side for Gratton, but he got stuffed before he could leave his own zone. Puck comes back to Lovell, who goes to Shane. One touch down the middle for Chambers. Chambers making his way down the right wing into the Miami end. Down to the corner, he banks it behind the net. It was twisted in front by Gratton, but there were no Sun Devils in the area, and the Redhawks pick it up and clear. John Waldron dances through one. Waldron now drags and shoots, and a right shoulder save made by Homer. Taking it the other way, Young gets around Dukovac and now skates across the center M. Young into the Miami end, tried to whack one, but it was out of the wheelhouse, and the puck trickles over to the near corner. Dempsey presses it up against the wall and now rolls it ahead for Dukovac on the half wall, who got it by Dowd. Dukovac skating it ahead across the center red, goes for Helene on the far side, entering the zone. Helene drives down low, one-hands it in front, but there was no one on the back door for Miami, and Arizona State gets it back out towards center ice. Dowd trying to carry in. Good job by Alexander to stay on side. A pass came back, and Copperwood ripped one wide. Meanwhile, on the half wall, Young could not hold on to possession as Taransky took it. Dempsey, though, will turn it over for Miami, and Copperwood has it behind the Red Hawk net. Banked up to the top. Niedermeyer with a slap shot blast. That's well wide. It's been a number of minutes since we've had a whistle. Now it's taken away by Taransky for the Redhawks. He'll poke it ahead, and Miami can go for some changes. ASU has it back. Young up for Alexander. He gets checked by Dempsey as he enters the Miami zone. Puck comes back out in front. A shot. His save is made on Copperwood by Neaton, and the Redhawks will clear up to the right point. And now we get a whistle. There were no arms up in the air. Two players were kind of pushing and shoving. That was Copperwood and Cox, but yeah, it was offside. It just came out of the zone here on the right side. Take a breath. That was a very quick sequence. Somehow Miami came out of that without giving up a goal, and our game remains level at 1. We've reached immediate timeout. 12:49 to go, third period. Still 1-1 between the Redhawks and Arizona State. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. 12:49 to go, third period. 1-1 our score between Miami and Arizona State. Sun Devils out shooting the RedHawks 16-13. We just went about 4 or 5 minutes without a whistle. For that immediate timeout, Arizona State had a number of chances, but were not able to finish, and we will have a neutral zone face-off with the Sun Devils moving left to right on the offensive side of the ASU neutral zone on the near wing. It's the top line for Arizona State against the third line of Miami. Fletcher, Sullivan, and Messenberg out, and Messenberg wins the draw for the RedHawks back to his defense. Top defensive pairing out for the RedHawks. Dylan Moulton goes D-to-D for Jack Clement on the far side. Now back to Dylan Moulton down the middle. He goes for Fletcher on the near wing. Fletcher stick handling around two, moving laterally. Now he pushes it to the far side where Clement can ring it around. Nice stick work there from P.J. Fletcher. RedHawks push it in deep. Sullivan with Dowd working at his back. Murchison trying to get his stick in there, but the RedHawks pry it free. Comes up to the left point. Dylan Moulton skating across the line. Moves to his backhand, leaves for Clement. Center point, he wrists one in, and it is snapped out of the air by Homer. 12:16 to go in the third. 1-1 on our score between Miami and Arizona State.
And this first media timeout happened in the second period. The RedHawks were getting kind of beat up on in those first 5 minutes, and then the media timeout happened, and then they came back out and they looked like themselves again. And this first took a little bit for them to get to the media timeout after that long stretch of play, but let's see what the RedHawks can do here. They're already off to a good start with a good shot by Jack Clement on net.
Top line out for Miami, but ASU wins the draw and rings it out to the far side. Fourth line on for the Sun Devils. Eckerly overskated it on the far wing. Lifts the stick of Barbolini, who tumbles down to the ice, but we play on. Eckerly could not force it past the RedHawks that were there. That was Kumlin and Waldron, but now the second effort, it's dumped into the Miami zone. Kumlin's got space. He'll just clear it in behind. A blind pass that Eckerly has now in the corner, but he'll give it right back to Kumlin now in the near corner of the RedHawk end. But Tollins goes up for Waldron, who skates it out, and now into the ASU zone on the left wing. He lost it, but the puck trickles into the far corner. Now along the near side, it's just fluttered off the glass and back out to center by Smolin for the Sun Devils. RedHawks backing into their own end. Kumlin has it for Miami. He leaves it off for Barbolini. He spins around to evade one. That was a nice play, and now goes up ahead for Waldron, but he couldn't dangle through two defenders. Smolin was there involved, and so was Shane, who's taking it the other way now, but a good job by Drasner to poke the puck away from him as he tried to make his way in on net. Arm is up, though, and a delayed penalty is coming up on the RedHawks. Ness goes down low for Shane, back up left point for Ness. Ness goes over for Copperroot. He blasts a glove save made by Neaton. Puck still alive. It trickles to the near wall. Copperroot tried to twist it for Ness. He wristed one through traffic. That went just wide. ASU still got it behind the net. Saw an exhaustive play earlier on by Miami on the delayed penalty, but the RedHawks will touch it up. And with 10:50 to go, the lethal Arizona State power play going to work as we get our announcement. It was a bench minor for too many men on Miami. I was going to say that things looked somewhat clean in the play that it looked like led up to the eventual penalty, but yeah. Miami was playing with 6 guys out there, and so the RedHawks will send Max Dukovac to go serve it with 10:50 to go in a 1-1 tied hockey game. Ozone draw coming up. It's Ty Jackson, Chambers, and Copperroot for ASU on the power play.
I was going to say, the only thing I thought it might have been, other than a too many men, was a hook, because Charlie Shane has been in and around that puck, and he was flying up the ice.
Face-off is won by ASU, but they can't hold the zone, and they'll back all the way up into their own side. Sillinger, who's one of the 2 defensemen for ASU, he's back up there with Tim Lovell. He had it. Jackson now on the far side will rim it around near wing at the half wall of the Miami end. Copperroot plays it in deep. It's directed by Chambers over for Jackson. Puck pinned up along the wall by Messenberg for the RedHawks. 3 ASU players involved to Miami's 2, and the numbers win as it's cleared back up to the left point where it's held in by Sillinger. Sillinger over center point for Lovell. Now left side Jackson. Back to Lovell, over for Sillinger, left wing. Lovell now center point for the near side. Slap shot by Copperroot, sliding block by Messenberg. Copperroot has it back. He goes for Chambers down low. A pass intended to come up to the point. Hit off a skate. Chambers gets it back below the goal line and twists it up left point. Sillinger with an errant pass. Good job by Sullivan to hurry him, and he clears out to center. ASU right back in. Copperroot, top of the right circle, dances in. Shoots, save made by Neaton with the chest. Rebound pops out, and the RedHawks clear it as Clement got his stick there. Still held in the zone. Sillinger trying to go across, and another too many men penalty was just taken by Miami. Official had his arm up, and that's the signal, and Miami got caught up in a line change.
These are the things that you just can't have happen. Arizona State's too good for you to be taking too many men on the ice penalties. Redhawks, and especially during the penalty kill, they looked solid. It was a big block by Blake Messenberg here over in the corner, or in the face-off dot rather, on a Copperroot shot. He had all the time in the world to get that one off, and Blake Messenberg came flying in, blocked it. But again, it's a preventable penalty. It's just a lapse in, not judgment, it's just you can't be taking those penalties. Very, very preventable, and something that I'm sure the coaching staff is not going to be happy with.
Teddy Lagerbach will serve the penalty for Miami, and a timeout is called. Looks like by Greg Powers, maybe, and Arizona State will get our signal. It is indeed an Arizona State timeout, so they'll have 48 seconds of 5-on-3 time in the too many men minor being served by Max Dukovac, and then they will have 1 minute and 12 seconds following that of 5-on-4 play, with Teddy Lagerbach serving the second too many men for Miami. Chris Bergeron took a while to finally send someone over to go serve that penalty, but crucial penalty kill coming up here for the Redhawks. PK was something that Chris Bergeron highlighted earlier in the week as a key to the game. He said he thought their PK yesterday was good. They did surrender 1 power play goal, but otherwise the Redhawks have been good today, as Arizona State came into the weekend on the season clicking at 25%.
Yeah, and I think that this game has become a game of, which special teams can strike first, or which special teams can be better. I mean, these 2 penalty kills have been good all game. They've had multiple chances the power plays have had multiple chances to score, and nothing's happened yet for either squad. So, I mean, this kind of seems like a war of attrition here between these 2 special teams units. And the Redhawks are going to need some big saves from Logan Neaton here. They got some threats on ASU here with the in both face-off dots. They got some threats with Sillinger and Copperwood. So Logan Neaton's going to have to come up big here.
9:37 to go, third period. Tied game, 5-on-3 coming up for the Sun Devils. It's Ryquist, Drasner, and Barbolini for Miami, but ASU wins the draw and they control. Lovell over to the far side, plays it down low. Lovell has it back now, left circle, gives center point for Sillinger. The 2 switch spots. Lovell has it center point now as it was handed off to him. Lovell tried to play it down low, but getting in the passing lane, Drasner collects and clears. Only gets out to center as Drasner just whacked at the puck, but does kill some time. 25 seconds remaining in the first penalty. ASU's back into Miami's end, making his way in. Lovell shoots on the one-timer, but the save is made by Neaton. Into the corner, 15 seconds remaining. Puck pops out free in front of the net, and the Redhawks clear it. Quickly, all 3 guys go for a change. Out of his net, Homer plays it forward quickly for Lovell as ASU looks to transition. Chambers down the right wall, back up to the right point for Copperroot. Over for Sillinger. He skates it across back to the near side, stops in the middle, plays down low for Jackson. He holds, waits, plays it through. It got blocked. The second effort, puck is popped up in the air. Taking it as Lovell, playing it out front. Jackson couldn't get a swing at it. Now the puck is down low for Lovell. First penalty has expired. Sillinger's pass got picked off by Dukovac, and he'll go one-on-one the other way out of the box. Dukovac slams the brakes. He holds, waits, goes down low for Clement. And now Clement will spin it around, and Sullivan's got it back. He's just going to clear this back to Miami's own end, where Clement is waiting, and the Redhawks will kill more time. 40 seconds remaining on the second penalty. We're playing 5-on-4. Feenstra has it on the near wing, and he rips it around to the far side of the ice. Messenberg arrives there first. He'll forecheck and kill more time against this Sun Devil power play. 8:03 remaining, third period, still a tied game. Shane feeds over for Dowd. He makes his way into the Miami zone on the left wing. Dylan Jackson gave it back for Dowd. Dowd has it now, working away from a defender. He goes for Young on the near side. Cross corner dump finds its way to Shane. Shane goes right back to Young right point. Now this is Dowd. Fakes the shot, now backs up. 5 seconds remaining on the penalty. Shot comes through. It got blocked down in front, and it's cleared down by Axel Kumlin. Penalty expires, and the Redhawks back to full strength with 7:33 to go. Miami survives the 5-on-3. And there's some energy into Goggin Ice Center right now. Dowd makes his way through and chips it into the Miami end off the end wall. Ryquist spins it forward. It's held in on the zone by O'Reilly. Waldron cut off his dump attempt at the half wall. Puck ping-ponging around. Now Schmaggy has it on the near side. He throws one at the net. Neaton directs it away with the stick and up into the protective netting in the right corner. And with 7:12 to go, we get a stoppage game tied at 1-1. And an offensive zone faceoff coming up for ASU, but a heck of a kill And a whale of an effort by that Miami PK unit.
Yeah, you can stop holding your breath now. Some big saves from Logan Neaton, as we talked about, and some, they needed that shift. They needed a momentum boost, and they got it for sure. This big kills, and I'm a little shocked that Max Dukovac didn't shoot it on his rush down the ice, but at the end of the day, it was actually the smart play. He was able to get it all the way around back to Jack Clement and kill off some more time.
RedHawks control off the faceoff. Ryquist behind his own net finds Waldron. He goes all the way across the ice for Barbolini, across the center red. He chips it into the left corner of the ASU zone. Barbolini stops, gives for Vitalins. Between the legs pass looking for Waldron. It missed him. Barbolini gave a whack at it, trying to send it through traffic, but it was taken away. ASU going 4-on-3 the other way. Dragging a shot by Eckerly, got deflected wide. He tried to throw it back in front, but Neaton sends it to the far wall. Waldron has it now, and he will skate it up past center. 1-on-3 as there are no reinforcements there for Miami. Waldron will skate it across the blue and backhand it in as the RedHawks go for changes. 6:31 remaining, third period in a tie game. ASU coughs it up at center ice. Helene will just take it and rip it back in where it's stopped behind the Sun Devil net by Gibson Homer, their goaltender. Schmaggy now will circle his own net and head up the right side. Bank pass for Sillinger. He goes for Jackson. Jackson to the other side. A one-time attempt by the other Jackson Ty, but it went wide and the RedHawks clear. Another example of the puck movement by this ASU top line. Another backdoor chance. Logan Neaton did well to cover that backdoor, but the shot went wide anyways. On the near side, Lovell ran into the linesman, and the RedHawks very fortunate as he entered into the zone. Miami takes it away. Jack Clement skating up the right side. He'll feather it forward, but it's taken back by ASU, and Lovell has it in his own zone, regrouping. Tabakin now up the left wing. Drops off for Sillinger, top of the left circle. Sillinger shoots, and that deflects wide. Taransky takes it and goes up ahead looking for Messenberg. Icing hand is up, and it will be just enough on it as Messenberg and Dowd are racing after it. The two about a step short, and Dowd wins the race with 5:35 to go in the third period. A tied game at 1 and a defensive zone draw coming up for the RedHawks. See if Chris Bergeron takes his time out here. The good news is that it looked like Miami was right in the middle of a change there and might have had fresh bodies on the ice right as that puck went down for icing, and it looks like Chris Bergeron's going to keep his time out here.
In worst case scenario, you have Blake Messenberg in this face-off dot. Yesterday, he was fantastic. I guess the linesmen are sending off Taransky.
And he's going over to see the trainers, so it looks like he may have some blood on his jersey potentially, or something else that would lead the officials to send him off.
But yeah, I mean, you have Blake Messenberg here. He lost only one face-off yesterday. He lost that one there, but he was at 93% yesterday. Deserves a shout-out for that.
Niedermeyer on the left point. Arister got blocked by Sullivan, who came on for the injured Taransky. Now a shot sent in from the left circle. A rocket is saved by Neaton. Gratton got a soft feed there, had very little space to work with, and he absolutely wired that one on frame. Neaton caught it up high and held it against his chest. And with 5:24 to go, the RedHawks will get a much-needed timeout. Man, this third period has delivered on everything except goals. We have not had a tally on the scoreboard yet as we stay tied at 1, but it has been plenty exciting, and it will likely continue that way through the final 5:24. Stay with us. Finish coming up here from Cady Arena. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Out of the media timeout, Luke West Poley and Jeff Middleton with you on Red Hawk Radio. Miami 1, Arizona State 1, our score. 5:24 to go in the third period. This has been a very back-and-forth, exciting third period filled with scoring chances, but still no breakthroughs. Offensive zone face-off for Arizona State. Top line is out. Lucas Sillinger, Ty Jackson, Dylan Jackson for Miami. They are sending out their third line of Blake Messenberg, Ryan Sullivan, and P.J. Fletcher. Face off on the far side of the Red Hawk defensive zone. Miami moving right to left, and Sullivan comes through the face-off dot after the tie-up to grab it, skates it across the center red and chips it in. Sullivan forechecking against two Sun Devils and gets some help now from Messenberg as the puck goes behind the ASU net. More help arrives for the Sun Devils, and Niedermeyer will clear. This one's rolling down the ice on its edge, and it will be called icing as Kumlin did well to kind of take a long, easy route to that puck with 5:05 to go. An offensive zone draw coming up for the RedHawks in a tied game at 1.
He's just a little bit tired. Got to take a second. Throwing the first line out there. Let's see what this RedHawks first line can do. They haven't been as dominant as they were yesterday, so you'd like to see a little bit more from them, whether it's missing on passes or just not being able to keep possession of the puck in the offensive zone. They haven't been able to do what they were doing yesterday.
Arizona State wins the faceoff and controls. They get it back out to center. Dylan Jackson turns it around, trying to rip it in deep, but Kumlin stopped it. He'll now ring it around to the far side where Waldron's got some space to skate. He'll turn around and now turn back and fire it into the ASU zone right on the red line. It was stuck at the skates of ASU goaltender and Gibson Homer. He couldn't track it, and the RedHawks take it away. Out in front, pass to Waldron, it's saved. The rebound comes out, and the whistle blows. Another save was made by Homer. Waldron had a golden opportunity. It looked like that first shot might have partially beaten Homer as his pad wasn't yet flush on the ground, but Homer squeezed the puck in between his leg pad and the ground, and that meant there was no rebound that popped out. If there was, there were two RedHawks there. Raymond's Vitalins likely would have had a goal. Instead, RedHawks got some free whacks, but it just ends up being a frozen puck with 4:34 to go in the third. Game remains tied at 1.
I was going to say, it looked like he got stuck under his pad, and that's the kind of stuff that you want from that first line. Johnny Waldron's been a good driver of offense tonight. He scored the game-winning goal last night. He's been really good at getting shots on net.
Drive by Cox off the face-off. A blocker save is made by Homer. Dukovac now has it behind the net for the RedHawks. Skates it up the far wall before sending it back below the goal line. Messenberg got pinned, and the RedHawks coughed it up, but a good job by Dukovac to hold the zone. Dukovac now has it on the half wall. Gratton pins him up against the wall. Puck comes out to Ryquist, who slaps it in from the right point, but that goes wide. Cox directs it down low. 4:06 to go in the third period. Dukovac twists it back behind for Helene. Helene, stick handling, reverses. He's got Taransky there with him to help, but Chambers delays and gets a second player there. Puck rolls along the dasher wall up to the point before Ryquist bangs it back in down low. In the near corner of the zone, Murchison got a stick lifted by Taransky, but his second effort gets it out to center, where Gratton will backhand it behind his back to Shane into the Miami end on the right wing. Sends a shot in the direction of the net that's directed wide by Neaton. RedHawks will pick it up and clear as ASU regroups at center. Level down the right wing, chips it by Spencer Cox, but there was a straggler left in the zone for ASU, and it is offside with 3:31 to go in the third period. 1-1 hockey game between Miami and Arizona State coming down to the wire just like yesterday. RedHawks beat the Sun Devils 5-4 in overtime after trailing 4-1 in the third. Looks like we'll have a similar exciting finish here on Saturday night. Puck is dropped. RedHawks win the neutral ice faceoff. They got their top defensive pairing out with their third line. Fletcher tried to thread one through the middle. It hit off the shaft of the stick for Alex Young, and ASU takes it away. Alexander whacks it in. Clement recovers it behind the Miami net, rings it around, but Sun Devils hold the zone. Puck held up along the half wall. Young couldn't dance his way through the middle. Moulton has it now for Miami. He'll tap it to Fletcher, who skates it up the left wing and chips it into the ASU end. In the corner, Tabakin spins it all the way out for Copperroot on the far wing, who's got some speed up ahead. He enters the Miami zone, but Feenstra does really well defensively to keep him off the puck. RedHawks now going up the right wing after the puck hit the official. Messenberg has 4 black jerseys surrounding him, and he whiffs on the dump attempt. So ASU will take it and back into their own zone with 2:41 to go in the third period, and both teams go for some changes. Lovell skates it ahead, brings out the wedge, and shovels it into the Miami zone. It's picked up by Kumlin. He bank passes it off the end wall to Feenstra. Threaded across the middle. Vitalins on the far side of the ice recovers and goes backward for Kumlin, and now Feenstra again on the near wing. Feenstra ahead for Waldron, got tipped by Dowd down to the ASU end, no icing. Dowd in the near corner, directs it up to the half wall for Dylan Jackson. He rips it cross ice, Sillinger plays it into the Miami end on the wing, gets it in front for Niedermeyer. He tried to spin one back towards the front of the net, but it was knocked away by Miami's Matthew Barbolini. 2 minutes to go in the third period. RedHawks can't clear. Sillinger holds it in on the right wing. He's hit by Barbolini but keeps possession. Sillinger dances down low, backhands in front, but the RedHawks direct that one away, and now Kumlin has it in the near corner. Kumlin nearly turned it over in front of Miami's net. Instead, he gives it to Feenstra on the far side, who just banks it off the wall, and this has just enough touch down the ice that it won't go for icing. Dowd back to it as both teams change. Dowd's got some speed up the right wing. Gets around Taransky, but Taransky knocks the puck away from him. Drasner recovers, but Dowd steals it back, throws one in front. It's taken by Dukovac for the RedHawks. Helene now through center. Taransky one-on-one. He enters the ASU zone. Shoots, and a save made with the upper body by Homer. Behind the net, Helene, near post, Dukovac shot save. Puck is still loose out in front. Taransky can't track it down, and a good job by Copperud to get there first. Helene now in the near half wall, tried to one-time one in front. It directs back out to Ryquist. Over on the far side, Dukovac tried to turn around and shoot, but Chambers blocks that over to the far corner with 1 minute and 1 second remaining. ASU throws that one intended to be off the glass, but it goes over the bench and out of play. And with an even 1 minute left on the clock, we get a stoppage. Game still tied at 1, but a couple good chances for that Miami sophomore line here late in the third.
Yeah, that line has been really good all night, so it's not a surprise to see them making an impact here in the third. But, man, I will say there were a couple tight moments in this near side corner in the Miami defensive zone where the puck was not staying on the sticks of the defenseman and almost turned it over a couple times.
RedHawks have their third line out, and an offensive zone faceoff win for Blake Messenberg. Sullivan at the far half wall, throws one in front that got sent just wide. Might have caught a piece of the post there. Moulton on the left wing at the point, walks it across. He goes over for Clement, back to Moulton center point, drags and shoots. It's blocked by Eckerly, and it's directed into the corner. 41 seconds remaining. Fletcher trying to forecheck for the RedHawks. Puck pops up in the air. It's still in the pile. Sullivan trying to kick it down low, but it's held off for ASU. They will get a reinforcement, but they can't clear. Shot comes in by Clement from the right point. It's easily saved, though, by Homer. And a clearing attempt hits a glove on the ASU bench. Another offensive zone draw for the RedHawks, and that first line is coming off the bench with 24.7 seconds to go to take this offensive zone draw. ASU can change because it went out the bench and not over the glass, so they will send some new troops on. Right side face-off in the offensive zone for the RedHawks. They've got Kumlin and Feenstra on defense, with Waldron on the right side, rather. Barbolini on the left, and Raymond Vitalis centering that line with just under 25 seconds to play in a tied hockey game.
We'll be interested to see if they try and find Kumlin in this left circle here, if they can maintain possession. You know, he has a rocket of a slap shot, so.
Face-off win goes to the right point. Feenstra pushes it in deep, but he broke his stick in the process, and now ASU will clear, and they've got a 2-on-2 the other way. Here comes Tyler Gratton down low. He shoots. A save made by Neaton. Rebound is directed behind the net with 10 seconds to go. It's pinned up against the wall. Throwing it out in front. It got tipped up in the air, but it's snapped out by Logan Neaton, and a player came flying in there for ASU and knocked Neaton right into the net. So there was a play from down low. It came from ASU's Ryan Alexander, just trying to make something happen with about 8 seconds to play. Threw it in front.
Like Gratton's getting a penalty for that.
Yeah, he's going to get a penalty. He just threw it in front. It was a dangerous play. Neaton got it with his stick, but he didn't get it cleanly, and so it popped up in the air. Neaton, though, with the good hand eye, snapped it with his glove hand, and that was when Tyler Gratton came in and kind of laid a body on Miami goaltender Logan Neaton, who then crumpled backward into his own net. The whistle was blown immediately as the puck did not ever enter the net, no question about that. But, man, that's the second penalty that ASU captain Tyler Gratton has taken in this game that is not necessarily a great one. Officials discussed for a while. Now they're going to give the call.
Matt Barbolini is getting a penalty for cross-checking. It did look like Gratton was shoved into the net, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, they'll show the replay now here on the big board, and so it will be 5 aside. So with 5 seconds left.
He just got tripped up, I think.
Yeah, it was actually Feenstra that was there for the RedHawks that, like you said, kind of got his stick into the skates of Gratton, who it looked violent in the moment, but when you watch it back on replay, more so just fell into the goaltender. It was more accidental, but he does get the goaltender interference call. Teams are going to skate 4 aside here for the final 5.2 seconds of this third period. They've got to pause things for a moment as the penalties aren't up on the scoreboard, but it's Barbolini for a cross check and Gratton for goaltender interference, and it's an offensive zone draw for ASU with 5 seconds left. Going to try to drop a play. Dowd is the defenseman. The forward line is the ASU top line. Sillinger, Jackson, and Jackson. It's Ty Jackson, the center, taking the draw.
They have Messenberg out again in this right circle.
He has been the reliable faceoff guy for Miami, and he wins the draw straight back. Clement collects below the Miami goal line, rims it all the way around the far side down the ice. Clock hits zeros, and for a second straight night, we will have overtime here at Cady Arena. After 60 minutes of play, Miami and Arizona State tied up at 1, and we will play a 5-minute 3-on-3, which will actually start as a 4-on-4 period due to the penalties for the next minute 55, but following that it will be 3-on-3 hockey between Miami and Arizona State to try and decide a winner for a second straight night. Interested to see here, Jeff, who Miami goes with to send out to start, because you would think on one hand they go with the combination that they went with yesterday, which was, I believe, Kumlin, Barbolini, and Waldron. However, that line that those guys up front have been on have been largely held at bay by this ASU team, and it has been more so the sophomore line for the RedHawks of Max Dukovac, William Helene, and Artur Turansky that have had much of the success in terms of pressure. So interested to see who Chris Bergeron sends out here.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, I think that, whether it was Waldron and Vitalins or Waldron and Barbolini, they have some guys on that first line that can really make an impact on this 3-on-3 with all the time and space that you have. But, man, that sophomore line has been fantastic. I think that, Dukovac and Turansky wouldn't surprise me, but Helene and Dukovac, Helene and Turansky, one of those guys, looks like it's going to be Vitalins and Waldron.
So it will be Vitalins, Waldron, Kumlin for the RedHawks.
Which that doesn't really surprise me either.
Yep.
Those two guys have been very good. I think,
and especially in 3-on-3, it's almost
exactly.
like a new game. And at that point, you might as well just throw your playmakers out there. For Arizona State, it's Dylan Jackson and Ty Jackson up front, and Anthony Dowd back behind. It's the same combination they went with to end regulation with the 4 guys out there. Only difference is that Lucas Sillinger, who's the third forward on that line, is not on the ice. Imagine, though, that for Greg Powers, if this overtime extends into a second shift, we will likely see Sillinger there.
I'm sure he's on the second unit. Would shock me if he wasn't.
Sillinger's got the goal for ASU. For Miami, the goal scorer was Robbie Drasner. RedHawks move left to right in the 3-on-3 overtime. They are going to skate 3-on-3 here to begin, and penalties have been taken off the board here, so they're going to go 3-on-3 and I guess call them offsetting penalties. And the face-off is directed back to the ASU end. Sun Devils moving right to left, RedHawks left to right. Homer plays it in his own net, and we'll immediately get a stoppage as Jackson and Vitalins, who took the face-offs, had their face masks.
I think their cages were caught up.
Yeah, get caught with each other. So this is actually going to hugely benefit the RedHawks if the indication is right. The officials are going to discuss this, and now this is shut down by the head referee on this crew that they're going to move the face-off back to center ice, because originally Arizona State had possession, which is the big advantage, but they had it in their own zone. They were saying ozone draw for Miami, which would have been huge, but not exactly the most fair thing in the world. But the second face-off is controlled by Miami. Yep, and now the RedHawks will bring it behind their own goal line. John Waldron, the overtime hero yesterday, goes through the middle for Vitalins. Transfer from Vermont, skates it into the ASU end. He leaves it for Waldron along the right point. Waldron checked by Dowd, and Dowd steals it away for the Sun Devils. Dowd will now circle it behind his own net, and he gives to Dylan Jackson along the near side. Jackson tries to bank it for Ty Jackson on the near wall, but it got past him, and Kumlin takes it for Miami. Kumlin circles his own net and now has a full head of steam up ice. Kumlin fakes the slap shot, heads to the right side of the ASU zone, now goes behind the net. Kumlin goes up top for Vitalins. He dances through one. Vitalins down low, puck trickles in on net. Homer makes the initial stop, and now the loose puck's just cleared to the far wall where it's picked up by John Waldron. Waldron playing 1-on-3. Waldron gets free. Puck is tipped, and it goes just wide. Trickling puck there, rolled up on the shaft of Jackson and nearly went in. Now ASU takes it the other way. Ty Jackson into the left corner, Miami end, and he turned it over as Kumlin steals it, throws it out in front, but Dukovac is there in front of the Miami cage. 3:33 to go in the overtime. Dukovac now on for the RedHawks, going down the right wing. He'll leave it for Helene. Feenstra comes on defense for the RedHawks. Helene circles the zone over to the far side. He goes back for Feenstra, who's just going to pull this one off, and that will allow Dylan Jackson to get off the ice for ASU. Dukovac now in. Sends it to the right point for Helene. Helene now walking the line of the ASU zone. Fakes the leave for Feenstra, and will now get to the far wall and just reverse it back. Helene will just take it out of the zone here and give for Dukovac, who gives right back to Helene right on the mid-ice M. Short pass to Feenstra. Now Feenstra heading forward. Feenstra for Dukovac across, and Dukovac makes a nice move to get around one. Feeds over to the far side for Feenstra, forces one out in front, and a stop was made, and now maybe a developing play the other way for ASU. This is Alex Young taking it down the left wing. Young drags to his backhand, circles the Miami net. 2:38 to go in the overtime, and now Young is just going to skate a full circle around the zone. ASU's turn in the offensive end. Young skates a second lap around the zone and now is back to the far side. Calling for it in his own end is Tim Lovell. Instead, Young will just skate it back there and now head back into the Miami zone. Lovell into the slot behind the back pass. Shot comes in, save made by Neaton, and there is no rebound.
What a save.
Sillinger had the blast. It was a beautiful pass his way as no one was expecting it. A no-look over to the far side, similar to Axel Kumlin's game-winning pass yesterday. But Sillinger gets robbed by a sliding Logan Neaton, and he holds on. Officials are going to discuss here. There was a player that was down in the crease for the RedHawks. Sillinger was pleading his case that he was covering up the puck, and if that's the case, that would be a penalty shot. But we will see what the ruling is here.
It's interesting. The ASU players waited for Dukovac to go and change, and immediately.
Both officials are standing at center ice. And so this is going to be an Arizona State challenge. So it is challengeable. You can challenge whether or not this is actually the first review that the officials have been called over for. They are challenging that the Miami player who was in the crease covered up the puck. If that was the case, it would be a penalty shot for Arizona State with 2:16 to go in the sudden death overtime. As it stands, it's a frozen puck for Logan Neaton, and the face-off is on the left side of Miami's defensive zone here in the overtime period, tied at 1.
It looked more like he was trying to push it into Logan Neaton's pads because it was loose at one point, but...
And remember as well that you can hit the side of the puck all you want. You can do it with your hand even. The only thing that you cannot do is that you just cannot cover the top of the puck with anything except for your stick or your skate. And if you were to do that, then that is where the penalty shot would come into play. Neaton made the initial save. The rebound was not a super hard one that bounced way out of the net. It only just kind of sat on Neaton's pad. And like you said, the player that was there for the RedHawks couldn't catch who it was in the chaos, but just kind of pushed it back to him. The question is whether or not it was pushed from the side or pushed from the top.
And I think, part of this becomes if it is a penalty shot, why would you make that play? It's one thing to try and push it into Logan Neaton's pads because it's loose and you don't want anybody getting to it. It's another to, blatantly put your hand on top of the puck and try to play it. I'm not sure what the thought process is behind that, but I guess we'll see here momentarily. Referee's looking at it from every angle possible.
Just a crazy aside, but this is Arizona State's 6th game of the year. This is their 3rd time in overtime. Their opening weekend against Merrimack, they beat the Warriors 1-0 at Mullet Arena in overtime. Last weekend, they finally were able to not play an extra period as they dispatched of Northern Michigan on back-to-back nights at home.
This weekend, it's only been overtime.
This weekend, it's been 2 overtimes. So the officials still looking at this. They're at the monitor right below us and pointing at various things. But again, if you're just tuning in or you missed it, there was a beautiful chance and a cross-ice pass for Lucas Sillinger. He sent a one-timer in. Logan Neaton made an excellent sliding save, but then on the rebound, there was a Miami player that was back in the crease that tried to push the puck back into Neaton's pad so he could cover it up. The call on the ice was that he did so legally and covered, but Sillinger was arguing, and then Arizona State eventually challenged that the Miami player covered up the puck with his body, which is not allowed, and if that was the case, it would be an Arizona State penalty shot with the game on the line here in overtime.
I think this is, no matter the result of this, I think that, the fact that Miami has taken these taken these Sun Devils to overtime twice, and they've had their chances too. Raymond Vitalins almost had a golden opportunity down here, just fumbled the puck a little bit. But I think no matter what, this game has been tight most of the time, other than the first 5 minutes of that second period where the RedHawks were on their heels. It's been a pretty back and forth contest, and I think that's good for confidence either way.
New replay system this year here at Goggin Ice Center. They've got more cameras. They've got a better setup. This is the first time that a review has been initiated down to the ice. There was one review earlier on that was not announced over the PA and the officials did not look at. That was earlier on when William Helene laid a hit in the corner, if you remember that way back in the first period, that resulted in an injury to a Sun Devil. Can't remember who that was involved, but
it was Ty Murchison.
It was Murchison, yeah, and it was rather quick, and they deemed that it wasn't enough to try and draw the officials over to the penalty box page down to them to try and review for a potential major there. And so to the fans here at Goggin Ice Center, this is the only review that they have witnessed in this game so far. It's been a bit of a lengthy one so far, but got to make sure you get it right here with the game on the line.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this happened last weekend against Canisius too. Like, they had one review where it took them probably 5-7 minutes just to get the call, and that's what you want. If you want them to look at it for a long time, people might get a little bit inconvenienced by it, but that's what you want if they can get this call right.
Official's putting his helmet back on. Looks like our call is coming up. Here we go. Referee Brian Hankes will give the announcement.
A little further discussion here.
Yeah, between the two referees, and now Hankes gets the mic.
There you go.
Can tell by the cheers of the crowd, determined there was no complete closure of the puck, and therefore call on the ice stands. No penalty shot, and it's just a frozen puck for the RedHawks. Arizona State loses the challenge. Greg Powers has a bit of a disgusted look on his face on the Arizona State bench, but good news for both teams is that they got quite a rest, and now they will get to send their top lines back out against each other. Arizona State's actually going to go with a little bit of a different look.
Out there.
Yeah, with their first line, as is Miami. So the first time for the RedHawks, it was Vitalins, Waldron, Kumlin. This time it's Barbolini, Waldron, Kumlin. For Arizona State, this is actually their second line that they've kept out, but it was the line that had all the offensive pressure. And that is Sillinger, along with Chambers and Dowd.
So I guess that the call was that, he must have pushed the puck towards Neaton with the hand on top of it, but didn't close it, which, that's a pretty big technicality in one of these, in this scenario.
Face-off is won by ASU, but Miami gets to it and whacks it out of the zone off the diving effort by Barbolini. Waldron gets checked by Dowd as he makes his way into the ASU zone. Dowd throws it behind his back, and Kumlin will take it for the RedHawks. Kumlin gets away from one. Kumlin center point, tees up a slap shot, blocker save made by Homer, and it goes up into the protective netting with 1:57 to go in the overtime. Kumlin was thinking shot the whole way. How often do you get to see a slap shot in 3-on-3? But credit to him, despite very little traffic and despite kind of telegraphing that, he still challenged the goaltender.
Yeah, we know he has a rocket of a slap shot. We see it on the power play on that second unit. But, man, he had all the time in the world to get that one off after his defender lost his stick.
Both teams keep their same lines out there. Left side offensive zone faceoff for Miami is won by the Sun Devils. It will be taken ahead by Murchison. He hands back for Chambers on the far side. Chambers will direct it back now for Sillinger. Sillinger skates across the M, leaves it right on the center dot. Skating through it for ASU, Alex Young. Reverses top of the left circle, goes across for Sillinger. Just going to back this one back out to his own end of the ice. 1:30 to go in the overtime. Sillinger skating it across to the far side. And now dangles through, leaves it for Young, who skates into its center point and now heads to the right. Young circling, tried to find Sillinger, but instead will just take it to the far side. Played it in front, and Sillinger just tapped it over the cage, and now the RedHawks take it away. Waldron down the right wing. Barbolini goes for a change. Waldron skates it through, drags it past one into the ASU end on the left wing. Waldron tried to direct one in front. It took a tip off Murchison and nearly went in his own net. but luckily Gibson Homer sealed that front post, and he holds on with 57 seconds to go. Nifty little move there by John Waldron. That was inches away from being an own goal that would have been Waldron's second OT winner. Instead, it's held on with 57.5 seconds to go in the overtime. Vitalin's, Dukovac, and Spencer Cox out for Miami to take this face-off on the left wing side of the offensive zone.
Waldron's lucky in this defensive zone. He was not paying attention to where Lucas Sillinger was. He almost made him pay on a backdoor deflection.
Face-off win by ASU. They'll immediately take it behind their own net. It's Lovell that's controlling. They will get a change and now work from the back. Young circling around. Now skates it ahead with 42 seconds to go. Pass was in front of Lovell, and Cox takes it back in Miami's own net. Cox banks it over for Vitalins. Nearly coughed it up in front of his own net, but instead he finds Dukovac. 30 seconds to go in the overtime. Dukovac with some speed down the left side. Makes his way through, finds Vitalins. Couldn't get the shot away. Nice stick by Lovell, now out in front. Cox with a shot save. Rebound, Vitalins had it hop over his stick. Vitalins now Dukovac center point. 17 seconds to go in the overtime. Dukovac to the far side. He will curl around and now just take it out of the zone. Dukovac had Vitalins offside, so he couldn't take it back in. There's 6 seconds left in the overtime. Puck is chipped to the near side. Cox holding on to it, and he will throw it up ahead for Miami. That is how the overtime will come to an end. So, with this being non-conference play, the teams will get a choice to play a shootout, but the things that matter here have all been decided as there are no points on the line, and now for pairwise purposes, this game goes down as a 1-1 tie. Neither team has left their bench, so it looks like we are going to play a shootout to decide a winner tonight. But again, if you're not familiar with NCAA rules, after the 3-on-3 overtime, for purposes of pairwise and tournament implications, which is all the Sun Devils care about, this game goes down as a 1-1 tie, and the teams come out even. Teams have the option to play a shootout, which for many conferences, including the NCHC, matters, as you generally play for the extra point in the standings, with a shootout winner receiving 2 points and a shootout loser only receiving 1 in conference. But with this being a non-conference game, again, shootout for all intensive purposes really means nothing here, but why not do it just to try and decide a winner?
Make things a little bit more interesting, right?
Yep. Teams are going to switch sides here.
Skills contest, baby.
So we'll get to be treated to some entertainment. RedHawks will move right to left, and Arizona State will move left to right. We'll talk about things a little more later on, but man, I think now that everything's decided, regardless of what happens in this shootout, Miami's got to be thrilled with how this weekend went.
Oh, for sure. I think that, that overtime period was really, Raymond Vitalins is ready to go. Here we go.
Vitalins from right to left for Miami to start off the shootout. Transfer from Vermont swings into the left. Vitalins dangles, backhand, stick save. Good
Nice
job
poke.
by Homer. He comes out and poke checks it,
Yep.
and it's a miss to start things off for the RedHawks.
Vitalin showcasing his skill. He's just such a smooth skater. His hands are good too. He's had a couple pucks hop over his stick tonight, and that one was just a great save by the goalie.
It's Matthew Copperud now, leading scorer for the Sun Devils from left to right. He swings into the right post, fakes, dangles, and scores.
What a
Tucks
goal.
it between the wickets of Logan Neaton. Beautiful move by Matthew Copperud. The Denver native makes it 1-0 Arizona State here in our 3-round shootout.
And Copperud's got a great shot, so that shot fake, little play to the middle, and a dump in between the legs of Logan Neaton.
Now it's John Waldron from right to left. Swings in from the left side. Now in the middle. Waldron fakes to the backhand. He's stuffed with the right pad.
There's that 6'5" frame of Homer. He initially looked like he bit on Waldron's little move to the forehand, and then as Waldron moved backhand, Homer was able to just stretch all the way out, and Waldron wasn't able to lift the puck.
Alex Young, draft choice of San Jose, can win it. He swings in from the left side. Fakes, shoots, saved by Neaton. Tried to chip it over his left pad there, but Neaton stayed square the whole way. And now the RedHawks' hopes will rest on Artur Taransky, who will take it in the top of the third with Miami down 1-0 in the shootout. Taransky heading straight down the middle. Now he swings out wide to the right. Taransky making his way in, handling, shooting, stick save made by Homer, and Arizona State wins it in the shootout. So the Sun Devils pick up the victory in the shootout here. Once again, it is a game that for all purposes relating to stats, statistics, tournament implications, it won't matter. It will go down as a tie, but the Sun Devils fired up for their sophomore goaltender, Gibson Homer. This was his first career start tonight, first career appearance for the sophomore. And while it'll go down on the stat sheet as a tie, morale-wise, it's a win for him. But for Miami, they come out of the weekend 1-0-1 against a team ranked nationally in the top 15. And as the teams will shake hands, I think both teams have got some things that they certainly want to work on headed into the kind of meats of their season. For Miami, they'll start conference play coming up over the next week as they will face off against St. Cloud. But the RedHawks got to be really pleased with how they came out of this weekend.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what you take out of it is, no one likes to lose. These guys are all uber competitive, and they love what they do. And, losing in the shootout's going to feel the same as losing in overtime. But the good news is that it doesn't really matter for anything important. So that's what they got to take out of this. I mean, a big win, a lot of people were doubting them that they would be able, even be able to kind of keep up with this Arizona State team, ranked 13th in the nation. That's you don't get there by not being very good. And so they had all those implications coming in and really surprised a lot of people, I think, this weekend.
For Miami, they will be back to it in conference play this upcoming weekend on the road at St. Cloud as the team gives the stick salute at center ice. They will be back at home in 2 weeks' time to take on the Tigers from Colorado College. We'll have those games, I should say, here on Red Hawk Radio, November 10th and 11th, 7:05 starts on both nights. We will hopefully be back on the air for the next time coming up a week from Monday as the Miami men kick off their season on the hardwood against Evansville, as we hope to hit the road for that one. If not, we will for sure see you on Wednesday as the Red Hawk football team looks to keep it rolling against the Zips from Akron. Well, this was a fun weekend against a future conference foe. Miami comes out of it with a win and a tie. It's a shootout loss here on Saturday night, but it'll go down as a tie in the pairwise as our final score is 1-1 here from Cady Arena on Saturday night. Thanks so much for tuning in all weekend long. We hope to be back with you in a couple of weeks. Till then, for Jeff Middleton, rest of our great crew, I'm Luke West Poley saying so long from Cady Arena.